the Hindu Group, agency partner, Havas Media Network, platinum partner, Radio City, gold partner, Disney Star, regional print partner, Mathrubhumi, digital partner, City One, regional Digi Reach partner, Sakal Media Group, data partner, Chrome DM, ad tech partner, Hybrid, lifestyle partner, Hire, Tamil news partners, Puthiya Thalaimurai News, Telugu news partner, V6 News and Velugu, Tamil entertainment partner, Puduyugam, Kannada news partner, R Kannada, English news partner, Republic TV, magazine partner, Vikatan Group, online news partner, Media News for You, wardrobe partner, Botticelli Shirts, digital news partner, The Federal, broadcast partner, IBW, gift sponsor, TTK Prestige Group, photography partner, Frames by Nitin, and the event partner, Benchmark Events. Yes, and that's it. We all knew why we have gathered here this lovely morning. It's South India Media Summit Season 5 that we are here. Let's begin. And as we know, according to the Indian culture, we start off everything by spreading the light. And we have here beautifully decorated lamps. We call it as Bhadradeepam in Malayalam and Kuthuvalakku in Tamil. And we have here those two beautiful lamps. And let's spread the light. Let's spread the happiness, peace and positivity before we start the program. And I request our Honorable Governor, along with some other dignitaries, to please lighten the lamp. Yes, I would like to call upon some other dignitaries onto the stage to join the Governor to lighten the lamp. Yes, sir. Mr. Dushyant Sridhar, Vedic scholar. Yes, let's invite each and every dignitary onto the stage with a big, big round of applause. Mr. Anto Augustine, MD and Managing Editor, Reporter Broadcasting Company Private Limited. Mr. VKC Rasak, Managing Director, VKC Group India. Mr. Arjun Ranga, CEO, Parimal Mandir. So VKC Rasak, Managing Director, Vijay Sunku, Director, Parimal Mandir. Mr. Mohit Joshi, CEO, Havas Media Network India. Kailash Kakkar, Founder and MD, Quick Heal Technologies Limited. Devika Shreyams Kumar, Director Operations, Mathrubhumi Group. Yes. Yes. As all the dignitaries are here, and we have here our Honorable Governor here, and let's lighten the lamp. Lighten the secret lamp, and let's shower our blessings as the audience with big round of applauses. Thank you, everyone. And I request Ms. Devika, Mr. Anto Augustine, and I also request Sri Shankar and Bharat from Fourth Dimension Media, to please come on the stage to felicitate our Governor. We are so lucky to have you here, sir, because in spite of your busy schedules, you are here to bless the event. We all know how busy schedule you are having. So I request Ms. Devika Shreyams Kumar, Director Operations from Mathrubhumi Group, and Mr. Anto Augustine, MD and Managing Director, reporter, and Mr. Shankar and Bharat from 4 Dimension Media Solutions. Yes, first, Ms. Devika. She'll be honoring, she'll be felicitating our governor with a memento. Mr. Anti Augustine, honoring our governor. And now I request everyone who joined for the lighting the lamp ceremony to please come onto the stage for the photography session. Yes, Mr. Dushyant Sridhar, Andrew Augustine, VK Prasad, Arjun Ranga, Vijay Sunku, Mohit Joshi, Kailash Katkar, Ms. Devika, and I think everyone is here in the dais. Let's have a beautiful photography session. Thank you, everyone. Please take back your seats, and I request the governor to please take the seat. We all know about him. We are privileged to have His Excellency Governor of Goa, Sri P.S. Sridharan Pillai, as a distinguished guest at our summit. A multi-facet personality, His Excellency the Honorable Governor Sri P.S. Sridharan Pillai's career is a remarkable blend of law, literature, and public service. A senior advocate at the Kerala High Court before entering the public life, he has contributed significantly to the legal and political landscape of India. His leadership extends beyond governance, as he has also been a prolific writer, authoring over 120 books ranging from law to politics, religion, culture, and poetry, earning him widespread recognition in literary circles. His Excellency the Honorable Governor Sri P.S. Sridharan Pillai's profound understanding of constitutional law and his hands-on approach to governance have earned him the respect of both his peers and the public. Once again, a very hearty welcome to His Excellency Governor of Goa Sri P.S. Sridharan Pillai for the South India Media Summit 2024 Season 5. And now I request the Governor to address the gathering this morning. Thank you. And let's invite him with a big round of applause.
Distinguished guests and my dear friends. So I am from Kerala. First I am welcoming all of you to this great city of Cochin. While I go through the entire programs, I am very happy to say that discussion on various subjects related to freedom, press, and of course all are connected to the current affairs in our country. Press freedom in India is concerned. My view is, of course, some political touch may be there. During the last 50 years, of course, I am a part of an ideology, and that ideology is still in my mind. Of course, political, power politics is concerned, governor is expected to keep away from that. But at the same time, people's politics, all citizens, including governor or whatever may be, they are expected to have their own opinion. Press freedom in India, so many discussions are there. I am not going to the controversy because 2 days back there is a judgment from Mumbai High Court. Of course, I am not making any comment on that. But at the same time, one point raised by one of the judges is that what is truth? For providing a true picture about truth, not only the governmental setup alone is the authority, the other press, I mean they have not specifically mentioned press, but other source also can provide it, and not through government alone. I am not making any comment on that because press brothers and sisters are here. And the judgment is not also final because High Court Division Bench judgment. Most probably they may go in appeal also before the Supreme Court. But regarding the press concern, journalism, according to Dr. Ambedkar, journalism should be a profession and not a trade. During the Constituent Assembly discussions, there was a demand for special provision for press as far as fundamental rights are concerned. But Ambedkar was so particular. No, what is required, what is envisaged under section 19(1) or 2, that is a freedom for fundamental right for citizens of this country. We need not go beyond that, and such a demand was not accepted by the Constituent Assembly. And as far as our constitution is concerned, the fundamental rights sanction for the common citizens of this country alone is there, of course, for a press also. But when we go through the judgments, last judgment, Sahara case and that Mumbai attack case, the view of the Supreme Court of India, of course, maximum liberal interpretation may be given, and through that process, maximum freedom. I think little bit forward in such a concept by the court as per the court judgments. And then the question, journalism should be a profession and not a trade, by Dr. Ambedkar also needs a detailed discussion in the present circumstance. I am not going to any controversy, but I would like to say one truth before all of you. In American Constitution, I think 1791, first amendment was made, and that amendment was necessitated because special status as far as the right, the fundamental right is concerned, human rights are concerned, special consideration should be given to the press, and for that purpose, first amendment to the American Constitution was made. With due respect to Nehruji, I am always accepting and respecting Nehruji. It's a service to the nation also in my mind. But first amendment in 1951, of course, 3 items were involved in that amendment. One is with respect to the introduction of 9th schedule. That means a 9th schedule was introduced, and prior to that only 8th schedule. And 9th schedule is concerned, if some law passed by the legislature, it cannot be interfered by, even review power also not for that. That is, if an item is included in 9th schedule, that is one of the 3 aspects are there as far as the First Amendment is concerned. And second is regarding that reservation aspect. And according to me, the most important thing is that freedom of expression and such related fundamental rights, whether government can interfere. 16 days discussion was in the parliament, and Nehruji's stand in parliament, I just request your attention to this part. Nehru said in parliament, "It has become a matter of great distress to me to see from day to day some of the newspapers which are full of vulgarity and indecency and falsehood. This is not injuring me alone or this house, but poisoning the mind of the younger generation, degrading their mental integrity and moral standards. It is not for me a political problem, it is a moral problem." He ended his speech with a brave attempt to justify First Amendment, which was facing stiff opposition from not only from his political rivals, but also from within the cabinet and Congress rank and file. At that time, the opposition leader was Dr. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee. How he defended and tried to defeat the move of the First Amendment, I quote, "The House deconstructed the Nehru speech so convincingly that even Congress MPs gave him a big round of applause to Shyama Prasad Mukherjee. Indeed, the next speaker, the Congress parliamentarian N.G. Ranga, described this as one of the most powerful and eloquent speeches he had never encountered. Mukherjee was nothing short of being Indian Edmund Burke, a great Irish statesman and philosopher." So this was a situation. So First Amendment to Indian Constitution was made by our great Nehruji and others. They were having thumping majority in the parliament, that government can interfere in this matter. And the further developments also till 1977. Of course, as a student of history, as a student of constitution, I would like to say that is continued. If you go through the parliament discussions in between 1970 to 75, you can see, go through the parliament procedures. A committed judiciary was demanded by the senior minister, that senior Kumaramangalam, in the parliament. And of course, Balram Jakar, speaker, he stated, record shows that by quoting the Soviet Russia, why can't we nationalize the press? This situation I am placing before you because press people are concerned. I think it is an important duty of every press person, at least aware of all these things. And fundamental right is concerned, and other disputed aspects are there. So many things are there. I am not going to the legal aspects discussed in the parliament during that period. But one thing, the ruling prime minister at that time in 1970s, taken a stand that committed judiciary is required. Judiciary always interfering in these matters, and that is why the press freedom also to be restrained. That was the concept for certain members of the ruling party at that time. I am not blaming anybody. Certain that also record, as on the basis of some records I am saying so. Then we all know basic structure theory. 13 judges out of that majority decided there should be a basic structure, and that basic structure cannot be touched by Parliament. This also is very important because immediately after that, 3 or 4, subject to correction I am saying, senior judges were superseded and junior was appointed as the Chief Justice of India in the first time. They resigned, Grover, and his team, 3 or 4 persons. Under such a circumstance, I would like to say, in 1975, emergency was declared. Then emergency declared also 3 laws on that particular day, electricity connection cut and so many things are there. That part of the history I am not going to that. 3 laws were passed. A set of 3 laws were passed February 11, 1976. These were the Prevention of Publication of Objectionable Matters Act, 1976. 2, the Parliamentary Proceedings Protection of Publication Repeal Act, 1976. And 3, the Press Council Repeal Act also passed. And what actually happened also, at that time I was a student leader, I know, if for example Kerala, Deshabhamani Daily, is a mouth organ of a particular political party, if they want to publish their paper on tomorrow, on the previous day, before 12 o'clock, with the prepared items for the next day's paper, go to the collectorate, obtain signature, approval, Madhurabhumi or any paper, all the papers, and only after approval by the government, then only they can publish the paper. Otherwise, they will be subject to MISA or DER. That was the law of the land at that time. And in April 18, 1977, L.K. Advani, the concerned minister at that time, he repealed all these laws, and that is why now we are enjoying maximum press freedom in India. And Constitution Amendment and all these things are concerned, the legal aspects, even now, I am quoting Ajmal Kasab judgment, and that is in Sahara case. These 2 cases, 2012 and on what actually happened in this country, because press brothers and sisters are here. The Supreme Court found that Ajmal Kasba judgment clearly finding is that, yes, the national interest is diminished to a very great extent, and any attempt to justify the conduct of the TV channels by citing the right of freedom of speech and expression would totally wrong and unacceptable in such a situation. That lengthy judgment, para 405, I am quoting. Then finally, in concluding part also, it must therefore be held that by covering live the terrorist attack on the Mumbai, in the way it was done, the Indian TV channels and the medias were not serving any national interest or social cause. On the contrary, they were acting in their own commercial interests, putting the national security in jeopardy. This was the finding of the Supreme Court. But even then, they have not made any ban. This is a situation. But at the same time, our Supreme Court, Apex Court of the land, finally concluded that we have full confidence in our press and they will restrain themselves. In the Sahara case also, the same thing is repeated. I am not going to the details of the judgment and other things. So under these circumstances, how to interpret things? One, according to me, full freedom may be given to the press. Any restriction on the press would, of course, cause harm to our democratic system. But at the same time, national interest also be protected. So journalism should be a profession and not a trade. Supreme Court's ruling also, I already quoted you, commercialization. That aspect also vehemently opposed by Supreme Court in series of judgments. And under such circumstances, we will discuss this matter in detail. You see, profession and an employment. Profession and a trade. The profession is concerned, an employment, you are getting salary, taking your livelihood out of that. Nothing wrong in it. But if you call him one person as a professional, a doctor, a lawyer, or whatever may be a profession, basically certain things are there. My impression, based on Palkiwala in one of the cases in Supreme Court argued and somebody is accepted. First thing is that a journalist, a professionalist, a professional lawyer or whatever may be, a professional should maintain certain standard. And hard work, that's common, everybody is there. And a professionalist is concerned, dedicate his entire effort to profession. Mr. Srikandanad is here. I am always liking him as a friend of mine. In addition to that, dedication and hard work for the cause. This is expected from that. And these types of independent attitude, impartial stand, integrity to maintain, less harm to victims, engagement in inquisitive nature, accountability to society and nation. These are all things required for a professionalist. I am requesting this also may be considered by our media while dealing with the subject, and for the interest of the nation, interest of the society, and at the same time, of course, a competitive field. As far as a newspaper is concerned, it costs maybe 5 rupees or 6 rupees. Most probably, this is a one item. Printing cost may be more than that. Production cost may be more than that. Even then, for a less price, press is distributing their newspaper. And advertisement. And a question is there, whether editor is the most important person in a press room, or in that establishment, or the advertisement section is supreme. It's a question to be, I am not giving any answer, you will have to think about it. And one more aspect may be considered. For that purpose also I am depending on our constitution. Who is supreme under the concept of constitution? Supreme Court of India, whether it is supreme, whether Parliament is supreme, whether Governor is supreme, whether Chief Minister is supreme, with the great respect to all, I would like to say our constitution makers, they were introduced Article 395 in the constitution. In the commentary also 395 is not discussed in detail because that was a repealing provision. So nobody is interested in that. But the crux of that matter, who is supreme, Article 395 is very important because last section, Article 395, we nullified, the India nullified the main law. In Anglo-Saxon theory, if the main law goes, all other connected laws also would go. That is the basic concept of Anglo-Saxon system. But even then, our forefathers representing in the Constituent Assembly, they were very particular to introduce that. Under Article 395, what was nullified? Nullified the British Parliament legislation giving freedom to India. So our own freedom giving main act was set aside by Constituent Assembly. The legal circle, legally, strictly speaking, some other interpretation may be given. I am not going to that aspect. Because why should I start a... Under General Clause Act and other things, if the main act goes, the entire other things will go. I am not making any opinion on that. But you see, such a provision is not there. You see, the freedom of India would be a gift by Britain. For avoiding the same, our country, it is called in Sanskrit and Malayalam and other languages, Chirapuradan and Nityanudan. Ancient country, we are not against modern changes, modern type of innovations or whatever it may be. Chirapuradan and Nityanudan, that is why the name giving process also, India, Bharat, Bharatavarsha, so many things were put in the assembly and discussions were there. So we want to protect our ancient things. That doesn't mean that we are not against anybody. Anobhadra Kradavo Yanda Vishwandaga. Let noble thoughts come from anywhere, everywhere. We are prepared to receive it. That is our culture. That is why Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam and other things are still our Prime Minister in Indonesia. G20 countries presidency by accepting the concept of Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam was stated there. We are not against anybody. This is a speciality of our country. And I would like to say, our judicial system, our legal system, even though we accepted Anglo-Saxon system, there is interpretation given by Supreme Court also in 2006 states that Edo Dharmas Tado Jaya. The motto of, what is the motto of the Supreme Court? What is the motto as per the Constitution? Our country's motto, what is that? Satyameva Jayade. You see, Satyameva Jayade and Supreme Court's motto or dictum in one word, you can see in all the correspondence and even that building also you can see Yado Dharmas Tado Jaya. It is taken from Mahabharata, other from Mundagopanishad. So these types of things may be Yado Dharmas Tado Jaya. That is the most important slogan accepted by the Supreme Court and we are following it that. In 2006, Supreme Court stated that Dharma, the word, there is no equivalent in English. Of course, righteousness and other words we are usually. Supreme Court stated that dharma, there is no equivalent in English language. That is also stated by the Apex Court of India. And that is why I am saying, in our country, this dharma concept taken from Mahabharata. In Mahabharata, 11 places, dharma, the term dharma, yado dharmas tado jaya is used. But according to me, that is used by the mother of Duryodhana is most important. I think that in every field we will give some importance to this, not a religious concept. In India, we can't confine to any religion. The unity of India, of course, is concerned religion, caste or anything like that. Is not a unifying factor as such. But here, Mahabharata is concerned, Gandhari, in front of Gandhari, the Duryodhana, in the midst of that war, appeared in front of the mother and stated that, Mother, you bless me. We are in a dangerous situation. Our life is in danger. Normally, any mother bless him for his success. But here, what is stated by the mother is Yado dharmas tado jaya. That is accepted by our Supreme Court also. So the dharmic concept is required. I am quoting from the great American writer Henry David Thoreau in his famous book Walden wrote, rather than love, than money, than fame, give me truth. According to me, this is a basic concept expected from our media brothers and sisters. Gabriel Marcus also, we all know, Nobel Prize winner or laureate. He stated this thing in his book. My books are the books of a journalist. Then another occasion in another book he stated that power, what is a journalist? A power without a throne. Then he stated in detail that my story is also a real thing may be there in the starting point. From there, imagination and other things come. So given importance to press like that, and I am concluding my speech. Before that, this type of some dangerous situation also arisen with respect to the existence of press freedom. We all heard about Napoleon Bonaparte. He declared one sentence that is accepted by the press and political setup in the world. 4 hostile newspapers are more to be feared than 1,000 bayonets. But at the same time, during his period in 19th century starting in Paris, altogether 73 papers were there, and out of that 60 papers were banned by him, closed by him. Same thing happened in our country also. One Malayali, we all know, cartoonist Shankar. Nehruji inaugurated that. Then Nehruji told him, he's a person from Kayangalam, stated that, don't spare me. That type of democratic concept was there. But after 1975 emergency, he closed his establishment, Shanghai's Weekly, and sent the keys to the Prime Minister of India at that time. These types of situations are there. And the 10% press censorship, cancellation of, not cancellation alone, in certain provisions are repealed by the ruler during 1975-77. And under such a circumstance, as a concluding point, I would like to say, I have written a book and given to Shankar and our Srikandan Nair. Before I become the governor, I written a book. One chapter is related to 1977 election. This is only I am not antagonizing anybody. In 1977 election, of course we all know emergency was existing. Press censorship was there. Against the government nobody can write. Under such circumstances, 1977 election, if we compare with the 1971 election, the 1971 election, our 10 cow states are there. It is called as cow states. 231 seats are in these 10 states in the North India, including Hindi heartland. If you go through that 1971 election, the Prime Minister of India at that time, her party got 220 seats out of this 231. But in 1977 election, you see, out of this 231, Hindi cow belt, certain people are calling it as cow belt. Cow belt area, only 2 seats received by that same Prime Minister and her party. And at the same time, you see, press censorship was there. No press has got the power to write independently. The threat was there. At that time, you see, South Indian states, this is a South Indian conference. South Indian states are concerned. I don't know, somebody should criticize me also on this aspect. In my book it is there. That is why before become the governor, I have written a book and our wonderful Prime Minister released that book in 2017. Kerala, 20 parliament seats. All the seats were given in favor of the autocratic ruler. In Tamil Nadu, ADMK supported that setup. They together contested 35 seats out of the 40, 39 or 40, I don't know in the book, given. Karnataka, 28 parliament seats, except 2, all others went in favor of the ruling setup. Andhra Pradesh, 90% of the seats given to autocratic setup in India. My Goa, all the seats in favor of that. But at the same time, illiterate people are more, poor people are more. The 10 states, each state I have mentioned specifically, the 10 states rose to the occasion because of their efforts, their voting, their consciousness reflected in ballot box. Our freedom, our press freedom, our fundamental rights, Article 226, all this issued by our India. The question is, I don't know whether serious research conducted by anybody. These 10 states view how we are depicting all wise and other educated, highly that civic conscience is so big according to certain writers. But because of this 1977 result alone, certain countries in the world now bestow one important compliment to our country, that is mother of democracy. Athens, Greece was the mother of democracy. But after 1977 election, Washington Post and certain such types of papers, so the greatest people, politically aware, socially conscious, education is nothing to do with that. And in addition to that, I am not saying anything, the press influence also on common people, what extent it will influence is a question mark to be answered by your conferences. And I am very happy to see that a serious discussion happening on these types of subjects is a very I welcome it, because it will strengthen our democracy. And I am congratulating the organizers of this great conference. Wish you all the best. Thank you very much. I declare that this is officially inaugurated. Thank you very much. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for being with us today, and your presence has made it truly special, and we appreciate the valuable time you have shared with us. Also, we are so grateful for your dedication to Goa and its citizens. Your words of wisdom will resonate with us long after today. Thank you so much, sir. And now, now, at this point of time, we are going to celebrate this moment by offering and dedicating tribute to one such person who has hailed from Kerala in the 13th century. He is a very renowned mathematician and astronomer. Have you got any clue? Any guesses from your side? Yes, sir. He is the founder of Kerala School of Astronomy and Mathematics in late Middle Ages, and he has made pioneering contribution to study of infinite series, calculus, trigonometry, geometry, and algebra. Everyone's attention onto the AV, please. Yes, we are celebrating Madhavacharya, who hailed from Kerala in 13th century. 14th century. Yeah, 14th century. Thank you. And now I request Mr. Srikantan Nair. As we all know him, he is a famous media personality, TV anchor, journalist, and he is a managing director of Flowers TV and 24 News. I request you, sir, to speak a few words with us, and let's invite him onto the dais with a big round of applause.
Respected Honorable Governor, my media friends, and other dignitaries who have come from other parts of India. As our great Governor has told you, as a Malayali and a person who have been working here for long, I am very happy to welcome all of you to Cochin. Our Governor, apart from a Governor, I think most of you know that he is a prolific writer. He has completed more than 200 books till date on various topics. I have a genuine doubt that this number is known to Delhi. There is every reason to believe that they may doubt whether this governor has no work in Goa. Because he always writes 200 books, heavy books. I am surprised to see that within a very short span of time he has written this much of books in English. You know that he was a lawyer, a professional lawyer and a constitutional expert. In his speech, he has made a very important statement that has happened in India during Mumbai attack. As a media person and a television guy who has been working in television for the last 30 years, I was in those time very much surprised to see in television that we people were giving commentaries on terrorist entry into hotel in Mumbai where attack was done. And one great guy from Kerala, his name was Sandeep Unnikishan. He was Major Sandeep Unnikishan. He was brutally assassinated and was made in Malayalam as a Veera Mrityu. His people like Sandeep Unnikishan's entry into the area for protecting innocent people were made in live by a few television channels at that time. Where is our freedom? That is a question. Is there, we should go for a press censorship? That is also a question. In the Supreme Court case that he has mentioned, Court has raised a genuine question. In such a scenario, what would be our press freedom? Should we show everything that has happened there? Or should we restrict ourselves not to present some visuals which will make India's security and Indian people into danger? I spoke to a person who happened to be the manager of that hotel for some time at that time. He told me that the owner of the hotel, Mr. Ratan Tata, he came to the hotel after the incident. He was emotionally burst into tears for hours together, and he could not speak for some time, seeing the casualty, seeing the death of persons, seeing everything that has been spearheaded by the Pakistani terrorists. He told all the people who were victims of either wounded or died that Tata would be with all those victims until my death. That was his declaration. At that time, what our people were doing? That is a question. They were or for some trade purpose or some commercial things. They were narrating incidents and they were narrating the entry of brutal terrorists in our country and the blast, attack in the railway station. You know how many people have been died at that time. When our national interest is in trouble, as Governor told you, we should not think that our press freedom is far ahead of the interest of the country. Recently, Mr. Shankar and along with Anna Goswami and other 20-25 news channel promoters and presenters met our great Prime Minister and spent more than 1 hour with him, along with the Minister of INB. Governor was talking on a series of issues that facing the country. In between, he could understand what people like us are facing. In Malayalam, there is a saying, Satya Dharmadi Vedinyidina Purushane Kruthanam Sarpathekal Etuvum Pedikana. That means a person who is not worried about Satya, Dharma, truth or moral values. We should fear such persons more than a cobra, more than a snake. It is an old saying. In press, what is happening? 2 days back, a small incident has happened in one of the pages of the social media. You know what has happened in Shirur in Karnataka. One of the poor guy from Calicut, he has gone to Karnataka with a lorry. In the landslide, he met his last days and he was in the Gangavali in the river. He was under the Gangavali river for some time and our rescue operations succeeded and he was located. And his body was in the cabin of the lorry. Immediately on on social media came out a breaking news that the person's photograph, this is a photograph of that person, Arjun from Calicut. Actually, it was a photograph of somebody else. And no moral value, no press freedom, or no independent thinking has prevented that person before publishing this material. You know, one family who is waiting for something to know about Arjun, what happened to him and to his lorry. They were waiting for a good news in Calicut. At that time, this person published this kind of a bloody news item. Is this a freedom? This is a thing where we should demarcate what is the freedom, what is not the freedom. I am very much worried that nowadays things are going out of our control. In Kerala now there is a big controversy. I think you have come to know about that. A commission under the leadership of the Honorable Justice Hema was appointed in Kerala to inquire into the issues facing celebrities of film world of Kerala. And a lot of women, they were very bold enough to approach this commission and narrated their issues of harassment and other things to the commission, thinking that that won't come out tomorrow. But after 4.5 years, because of a judgment from the Kerala High Court, this just a Hema committee report has come out. Then you have read in the paper and they have seen the television what is happening. And privacy is being taken away by the television channels and media. As a person who have come across 3 decades in media, I have a great feeling that we have every reason to think that a person's privacy should be protected. A person has every freedom to approach a court for protecting his rights. But these are being ignored mercilessly by most of the channels, I think, including me. I have taken a stand that under no circumstance a person's interests must not be spoiled because of the television competition. That we can't afford to that, I think. If this is the situation, I have got a small piece of paper. Don't worry. You know that what is the content of the paper. Yeah. Immediately you should shut your mouth and go. Yeah. Thank you. In such a scenario, we should think about the freedom and the area where we can go. I think instead of putting a censorship by the government of India or Kerala, we should make our own restrictions and we should restrain ourselves from publishing certain things which may affect our future generation. A generation between the age group of 20 and 35, they are coming up, and these people should not be punished by the competition and the trade practice that have been in the country. Once again I told you, I never support an idea of any government of India to provide a press censorship in the country. But our people should think what we should publish and what we should not publish. There must be, we should fix a limitation and restriction. I am very thankful to our governor for his good words. And we were old friends actually, even now we are friends, even though he is a governor. He is the only governor. I often doubt, when we go to taking salute from the security force and military, he is using this mund. Before the mund they are saluting. That is a good idea. Thank you, Governor Mr. Sridharan Pillai and our friends, and thank you. And Mr. Shankar, I am very thankful to you for giving me such an opportunity to say a few words to all of my media friends who have come from the different parts of India. Thank you. We will catch up later. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. And thank you so much, sir. Your Excellency, Sri Sridharan Pillai, Honorable Sridharan Pillai. Yes, may we request everyone to please give me a big round of applause once again. And once again, would like to thank His Excellency, Honorable Governor of Goa, Sri P.S. Sridharan Pillai, for your tireless efforts in serving one of our states and its people. Your leadership and vision are truly inspiring. Thank you. Yes, everyone, please be seated. Yes. Yes, everyone, I request everyone to please be seated. Please take your seats. Please be comfortable in your seats. Yeah, now we are moving on to the action part of the day. You all know what it is. Being an MC, it's my responsibility to announce this, but I just want some response from you. So I'm asking, if I tell you, now we are moving on to the action part of the day, what it will be? Yes. Yes, of course, the leadership sessions. We are moving on to the sessions. Yes, chairs are getting arranged in the dais. And when I stand in the stage, I can see each and every face here. And you all seem to be very much excited and happy. But can you show your excitement in forms of some applauses? I'm going to tell you a count. And according to that count, you just give me a big round of applause, okay? When I tell you one clap, two claps, okay? Done. 1, 2, 3, 5, 7. I'm getting bonuses also. Yes. Let's greet this beautiful day with 10 number of energetic applauses. Yes, I think I got some 5 extra bonuses now also. Yes. I think our chairs are arranged and let's move on to the leadership session 1. And for this, I would like to invite the moderator onto the stage, Mr. Mohit Joshi. We'll call him Mojo, a passionate and dynamic leader who believes in the trinity of Purusha, the effort, Deva, the luck, and Kal, the time. We are delighted to welcome Mr. Mohit Joshi, CEO of Havas Media Network India. With over 2 decades of experience in media and advertising, Mr. Mohit Joshi has been instrumental in driving innovation and growth at Havas. Under his leadership, Havas Media Network has successfully expanded its footprint in India, delivering impactful, data-driven solutions for a wide range of clients. Please take your seats, sir. And along with Mr. Mohit Joshi, I would like to invite the other panelists to join him onto the dais. And Mr. Vijay Sunku, Director, Parimal Mandir, Mr. VKC Rasak, Managing Director, VKC Group India, Pradeep Cholil, Chairman and Managing Director, Cholil Private Limited. I request all of them to please join onto the dais for the first leadership session. And now the stage is yours. Can we have one more big round of applause for them? Yes.
Thank you very much for the kind introduction, and thank you, Shankar and 4D for giving us this opportunity. Shankar, Bharat, and the entire 4Dimension team. I think this is our 3rd year of participation in your 5 years of journey, and we'll be continuing to participate given the strategic importance of this market for all of us. And thank you very much, esteemed panelists, for being here. It's a great morning. We've just heard the governor talking about press freedom and a lot of other important issues that are there. Each one of you are very, very successful entrepreneurs, and you've built big brands in your domain. So I will not be talking about press freedom or any such thing, but more trying to understand from you the learnings that you've had during your entrepreneurial journey, and how have you evolved as an entrepreneur per se, and when you are at your position, obviously there are a lot of issues and conflicts that happen. And my first question is around conflict resolution, because when you as leaders are in that role and driving business the way you do, there are bound to be conflicts, and and there has to be a way of managing those conflicts. So let me first come to you, Mr. Pradeep. It's a family-run business, and personal, professional lines at times can be blurred at that point in time. So what's been your approach to resolving conflicts whenever they happen?
I think the most important part in a conflict is communication. If you have the right communication at the right point of time, I think conflicts can be resolved. And when we think we don't need to communicate and we hide ourselves, and the opposite party thinks too many things about us, and that's where the conflict arises. So the best part in a conflict is to have a good communication.
Very, very well said, sir, because, we are in the communication industry per se, and at times we forget that communication is the best resolution for conflicts. So, Mr. Razak, I'll come to you, and, your industry, tight margins and very, very intense competition. How do you navigate the conflicts that arise within the teams, across departments, and how do you ensure that they don't impact your operational efficiency?
So before coming to your question, let me first of all thank the organizers, especially Mr. Shankar and his team. And I think I'm fourth time attending this session out of the 5 this thing. And thank you, Shankar, for giving me this opportunity. And I again welcome you all. And as I said, this is the first time happening in Kerala, and I am from Kerala. I welcome you all to this media summit on behalf of everybody. And I'm actually based in Calicut, and we are into footwear manufacturing, and we are in the industry and this footwear business for the last 40 years. And we are one of the largest manufacturer of PU footwear in India. And coming to your this thing, as you said, the market is very tight, very competitive, and a lot of conflicts happen out of it. So I would like to just quote one comment, this thing from Albert Einstein. What he says that any conflict happens, you cannot resolve it at the same level. You have to go one level up to resolve that. So here, with regarding to your operational efficiency, and you had a question, so I will relate to that. Actually, we have been in the footwear business for years, and in fact, actually, there was a new material was available in footwear. But the price was very high at that point of time, and that market was not what you call growing. So when we started, we increased our operational efficiency, and we could launch the product which can be affordable to the mass consumers. So it means that a product sold at almost double price, we could bring it down to half the price to give it to the market and kill that controversy over there on the operational efficiency or the market or the competition, whatever it is there. So that entire thing, actually, we could capitalize on that. And normally, everywhere in India, in footwear industry, North shows the path to entire country. But this is the first time when South shown the, made the path, given a way for the North people also to come to this line. So this is our way of resolving the conflict happened that time.
Yeah, you went to the next level of
solving the problem
and creating an example that everybody had to follow.
Correct. Normally we follow them, but here they followed us.
Great. Can I please request people at the back to kindly settle down, because it's really disturbing when you are on the stage and people are talking at the back. And if you're not interested, then you can kindly go out of the room. That's perfectly fine. But if you are in the room, I would request you to be please seated and be quiet, please. Sorry about this. Great. Now coming to Mr. Vijay, you are in the perfumes, incense and perfumes industry. Again, an industry where there are a lot of unorganized players, right? And that's a huge challenge. So what kind of conflicts happen and how do you resolve them?
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to thank Shankar for giving me an opportunity to be on this platform for the second consecutive year. And it's been always great pleasure to be on this kind of summits. We, as a company, one of the largest producers of incense sticks in India, is 7-decade-old company with third-generation enterprise managing it. And all through these years, we have gone through all these challenges of conflicts. But what we believe is conflicts are a great source for learning that keeps you on toes. And always what we try to do is, rather than giving a solution at that point of time, rather we try to go to the source of why this really actually happens, so that you bring a solution to the core, so that these problems doesn't arise in future. So that is the adaptability that we would, the kind of approach that we would look into these conflicts, and thereby, a sustainability is there in the future, so that those conflicts doesn't keep repeating now and then and taking away time of ours.
Great. Different, I would say, strategies, but all equally important. You spoke about, communication. You spoke about going to the root cause. You spoke about going to the next level and finding a solution. Well, all this, I'm sure you're doing on an ongoing basis, but at the same time, all this would result in a lot of stress. I'm talking about personal stress, right? Because end of the day, you are resolving conflicts, you're talking to people, you're managing. How do you resolve the stress? What are the stress resolution techniques that you use for yourself? I'm sure each one of you have your own ways of doing it, because people over here who are in the business, who are aspiring entrepreneurs, would want to know how leaders like you who've been so successful in managing conflicts on a day-to-day basis, how do you handle stress when it comes to you yourself? Because, that's also a very important aspect. Sir.
Stress is an integral part of any entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
There is no escapism from that. And as an entrepreneur, one should learn how to switch on and switch off. Once you learn this mechanism, then half of your job is done. It's not that executives will work on a time frame, 10 to 5, 10 to 8, or whatever timing that they have. Entrepreneurs are like 24/7. Even in the sleep also, they'll be dreaming about what you have to do for the next day.
Absolutely.
But one should learn how to switch on and switch off, and this will really help manage your stress levels to an extent. I do have a practice. Once office is done, as you walk out of the cabin, that's the end of it. You should never, as you walk down the steps itself, you should have a mechanism to put off everything, so that you concentrate on your other part of your life that you also have. Your family, your kids, personal life, everything. Socializing. All this really helps, to beat the stress to a great extent. Otherwise, you will be drowned in it 24/7. And one should also always know that situation will never remain forever. It is going to change. It is going to move forward. And you being a part there can just do whatever best possible you can do. And I'm sure, nature has always solutions for everything.
Very well said, sir.
Thank you.
Very well said. Pradeep sir, what's your stress resolution mechanism?
Yeah, for me, I think stress is part and parcel of our life. Stress cannot be just on professional level. It also happens on the personal level also, because we need to manage the personal well-being of each and every one of the family members. So stress is something which is very much part of it. One good thing I practice is I practice yoga every day. So that's one thing which I have been doing for quite a number of years. And that's one thing I think I'm able to manage my stress.
Great, great. Sir,
So actually, I go with our previous speakers. Like stress is something which is what do you call going along
Part
like
and
like a shadow of you. So I think see why we are called entrepreneurs, because we are able to like manage stress at any point of time. Basically, I mean whatever is the stress, I think you will resolve that, or you will come back to I think the normalcy. But next day you will have another thing. So it's something like what you call, you will have to learn to fly above this thing like an eagle. When there is a rain or whatever it is, you just try to fly over it and get it resolved. That would be the easiest thing. But definitely it is one of the skills what any entrepreneur like have. But they have different mechanisms. As he said, sir said, is practicing yoga. And maybe somebody it will be like some watching movies or games. And for me, like maybe. For me, like kind of some involvement with the social work or other things. So it depends on various things.
Absolutely.
So I mean, you cannot pinpoint one particular method for resolving stress.
Completely agree, sir. And everybody has a different way of.
Probably people, entrepreneurs from Kerala like you have less exposure to stress because you live in God's votes country and this state is absolutely aligned with nature, and I think you are a blessed lot to be in Kerala.
That way, definitely, sir. We are all very much blessed, and just one of my friend was saying like our slogan, God's own country. You are really there. So that's what you said. So we are really proud to be in from Kerala. Thank you.
Great. And, we spoke about conflict management, stress. Now let's talk about change management, because that's also a very integral part of leadership that at levels at which you are. So, let me come to Pradeep sir, you. And since, family businesses often have a unique challenge where transitioning leadership to the next generation at times could be an issue. So how do you mentor younger family members to ensure that the business remains resilient while respecting family dynamics? And what about operations in different geographies when, some people want to operate out of different geographies and they feel that we need to move out of the core business to some other business or some other geographies? How do you manage that change? Because
I always believed change is inevitable. Change, we can't avoid change. If you're avoiding change, you're avoiding progress in your life. So change is one thing, we have to accept it, and we have to see that how best the change can be made a success into everything. As far as the family is concerned, for example, I have a son and a daughter. My son, when he wanted to join the business, he had a different viewpoints, and he launched a very high premium Ayurvedic products in the name of Sadev, and which is being done successfully well in the online platform. And at the same time, he takes interest in my regular business also. It is not that he said I will be only involved in Sadev, because I have given him opportunity. When he said he wanted to do something on his own, I gave the opportunity to him. At the same time, I had asked him to attend almost all the meetings and keep abreast with what is happening in the organization. So that's one thing which I have done. As far as my daughter is also, she finished her post-graduation, and when she joined, I have now given her an exports as my business thing, and she's taking it very keenly, and she's exploring the opportunities available in the export market. So I have been very clear to them. There's a good amount of communication happened where they wanted to go and how they wanted to go.
Great. Vijay sir, again, what kind of mentorship structure have you found to be the most effective one when it comes to family expectations and change management, and change management over there?
Yeah, mentorship is very, very keen and an important subject in an organization. When new generation comes into the business, that's a big challenge for the older generation, how we take them along.
Yeah.
Now, there is also a saying, that always after the third generation, the businesses cannot sustain because of conflicts of interest. So, having known about it, the older generation have to be, accepting for the change that is going to happen in way of what we do things and the way we think about what we are doing it. When new blood comes in, there is always a, it cannot be a smooth drive. No children would want to do the same thing what the parents are doing. Today, they have better exposure and they have better means of seeing the data. They are seeing the world in a much larger perspective, and they would never want to be on the traditional route of what the businesses has been handling. So, we as an older generation also have to have that reverse monitoring. We should have that openness to learn the new technologies that is available that would help the business grow in the future, thereby give the freedom for the younger generation to adopt it, and also make sure, the family values, the core values that the organization has been built along decades is kept intact and grow and move forward in the future in a more progressive way. One thing would be like ideal is organization becomes important, not the people who are there, because people come, people go, but institutions and organizations have to remain so that it gives shelter and aspiration for many entrepreneurs to look at it and move forward.
Very well said, sir. Razak sir, what have been your experiences in this domain, change management and...
Actually, being a second generation entrepreneur, I have experienced that, what our speakers were saying. See, when somebody coming to your business, from the second generation, you should not insist your way of working or your way of thinking on them, because as said, they have much more new exposure. So actually, to understand that better, I can tell you a small story. In a footwear business. I think there was a father who's running a footwear shop for quite a long time. And his style is that he always there every time in the shop when the shop is open. So one day he had to go for some urgency or something, so he told his son to take care of the business. So one customer came and customer took a pair of shoes, but he was, falling short of a few hundred rupees for that particular shoe. And the son told, okay, no problem, you give it tomorrow. And when the father came, when he came to know about these things, he was very angry. So he asked whether you know him. No, I don't know. Then how can you give him a credit when you said that he is giving tomorrow? Don't worry, he will come back here tomorrow and he'll give the money. As he said, he came back next day. Yesterday, after the next day, and he told with the balance, and he told, sir, by mistake you have given me both the same pairs. That time only, the son told me that I have given it purposefully, that so that he come back to the shop next day. So this is the way the new generation thinks.
Very well.
So you can't imagine what is the creativity going, through their mind. So you don't underestimate the young generation. Give them the way, the room for them to work. Definitely they will come up.
Great story, I must say, and very relevant. And all three of you have given very inspirational answers on how change management is being managed, and which is why you are all successful entrepreneurs and you have great companies that you're working on. Now let's come to the God's own country, because we are here, and it'll not be fair if we don't discuss about Kerala and specifically South India. So I'll start with you, Mr. Razak, because you are from here, and South India has been at the forefront of industrial and economic growth in India for a very long time. And I'm thankful to Shankar that, he does these South summits, and this makes all of us realize who are not in South India regularly how vibrant this country, this part of the country is. And I think, what factors do you believe have contributed to the success, particularly in the manufacturing sector that you are in? And what's your understanding of the consumption patterns of South India versus the rest of the country, and learnings that you have, because you've been in this market for a long time?
So actually here I have to contradict our inaugural speaker or our chief guest. So I would say that South customers are more kind of intelligent than the North customers, and basically they, especially if you take Kerala, you cannot find a difference between a village or city or the tier 1, tier 2. Because the fashion across the length of Kerala, it's almost same. So same go with to the extent in Tamil, either it is Tamil Nadu, Karnataka or Andhra or Telangana. But if you go to the next state, I think there is a marginal difference in the pattern and the usage pattern and the price pattern. So we always, I think we have been working in the mass segment, and where the price was very, very important. But here also, we could see that there is a clear differentiation between South states and North state. And we are more strong in South, maybe because we are originated from South, but still we feel that there is a real difference. So maybe for catching or for entering to those segments, we need to have something different strategies for reaching to those customers than what you are practicing it in South. So if you take any aspect, there is a difference between South and other market. Maybe I think the name of this summit itself is South Media Summit. So I think there's some speciality also in there. So I think this is something which is against what our inaugural speaker was mentioning. There's something different what we are experiencing these recent days.
Absolutely, I think completely agree. And we have seen this difference in South when it comes to media. It's a very different market compared to the rest of the country. Print as a medium is so important here, and people are so well educated.
Literacy is one of the major factors there.
Absolutely. And so there are major differences when compared to the rest of the country, and I think that's what is building this market and making it bigger and bigger. Mr. Vijay, I'll come to you now. Again, looking ahead, where do you see South India in the next decade? What are your aspirations? Because you also operate.
South is always important for any category of business because it has a wide potential. Probably all the South states combining contribute to around 35 to 38, 40, nearly around 35 to 40% of the GDP of this country. So no brands can afford to lose South. And what is unique about South is, I feel always South is more of quality conscious than a price-driven economy. Here, larger part of the consumers trust and be on quality aspect than the price point. And with the competition overwhelming now, the quality and the price is a big war in this region. So, but in a way, working in South is always a pleasure and a challenge. In North, if you go, I always look forward like it is a price-driven market, so once you have a right price, probably you can always succeed. But South is not that. You may have a price advantage, but if you don't have a qualitative advantage, then I don't think you can sustain being here. And South has been always a vibrant economy. Now, you see the IT boom happening in the South, especially driven by Bangalore, Karnataka. Larger part of the population, the young population from North, wants to either come to South for education and then find a job, or you join the new wave of startup culture. And as it is that youngsters are into new thinkings, and South gives a proper platform for any startup cultures, and that being the case, the entire young population is driven towards South, where the ecology is built around for new startup cultures and thereby giving a boom to the economy. And if you see Bangalore alone, probably more than 50% of the population are from outside the country.
Absolutely.
So this is a truly cosmopolitan city, I would say. And thereby, again adding to it is the Hyderabad and the Twin Cities. Chennai being so traditional city for ages and decades, that is becoming more modern now, with keeping the values intact. And of course, Kerala with the booming agriculture, which is held very strongly here, the tea cultivation, the spices market, which is traditionally strong to this region, is very much alive. So this way, South is always a very, very positive markets, and it is bound to grow, and it is bound to stay for a long time, because this is largely a quality driven than the price driven. So South is very important for any organization, any business, or any category for that matter.
Thank you, sir. Pradeep, sir, what are your views on South, and how do you see that for your business, as well as, how do you see South evolving over a period of time? Quick one.
Yeah, South is quite a important market for any business. It's an evolving business. And the most important thing is, for example, in Kerala, as Razak said, there is no rural or urban. It is both urban and rural you'll find. Especially, I'm quite surprised to see the small modern trades. The small modern trades presence in the rural markets of Kerala is phenomenal. And there only we find there is no price sensitiveness is not there. Of course, people prefer price sensitive products, but at the same time they are willing to accept to high priced products also. That's the most important thing which is there. So South is one evolving market. It is opportunities are plenty, and no companies can say our presence in South is not important.
Great. Now, since the bell has rung, I think we have 5 minutes left. I'll come to my last question, and that's the advice to the aspiring entrepreneurs who are here, as well as who are seeing this through the telecast. So I'll start with you, Mr. Pradeep. What are the 2 tips that you would want to give to the budding entrepreneurs basis your learnings?
The most important thing is resilience. Unless and until you have resilience, for you to grow in this, any business is important. So unless and until you need to keep trying till you succeed. That's the most important thing. And the other thing is love nature.
Love nature. Great. You have to come to Kerala for that. You are in Kerala. Razak sir, what are your...
What I would say is fast decision and fast implementation, and decision based on fundamentals. I think this is a mantra for to take you forward to the next level.
Okay, great. Vijay sir.
For all the young entrepreneurs out there, you should all be lucky that you are in a very great country called Bharat. You just see the potential, 1.4 billion population. And this 1.4 billion population doesn't come in haves and have-nots, just like the American society. We have at every strata a market on its own. You have a lower middle class, the poor, the upper middle class, the middle class. You know, if you see the sections, it's very, very vibrant. So you can always choose to which strata of the society you want to cater to. It is not about your potential. The potential is out there. You just need to position yourselves at where you want to project or to do anything for that matter. You have a market here. You don't have to go abroad. You don't have to see the other side of the country to show your entrepreneurship. This country has got all the platforms. It is just that how focused you can be to utilize this potential. That's a take for every entrepreneur, to be focused and stay and do things what best this country requires. And if you have a right product, a right strategy, right thinking, I think this is an amazing country to be here.
Great. Now, before we close, one line, I'm just asking you, which is that one entrepreneur or one business person that you really admire and why? It can be Indian, it can be global. So just the name and the reason.
Always take the first person to recognize Ratan Tata, a great organization, a great human being, and a great model of business that they have built across. They do earn billions of rupees, dollars in an annual way, but you see how they have structured it for the development of the country. So I would always look upon this great organization and Ratan Tata in particular, and also all his producers who have built a great institution on its own.
Thank you, sir. Pradeep, sir.
I would, Anand Mahindra is one person I always admire. I find him to be very innovative in his the way he approaches, and he's been a successful Indian automobile businessman. And he is not just into business of automobile alone. He's a diverse business, and he has diversified into multiple businesses, and all the businesses are successfully run by him.
Thank you.
So for me, actually, I would say it's my father. I mean,
wow.
He person who started working at the age of 11 and worked all across all sectors, like a coolie, like a loading unloading person, and with the Tamil Nadu State Electricity Board as a permanent employee. So from this thing, he has come to the level of industrialist and a social worker, whom the entire my village or people are always come to.
Worshipping,
and,
yeah.
So he has been a mayor of our city, and he has been MLA for 2 times, and having various posts along with this business, but not using his political power for the business. For example, we ran one of our factory on generator for 1.5 years when he was an MLA. So this is the way what he is showing to the people. So I always admire him, and I always see him as my role model.
Great. Thank you, sirs. I think it was a fabulous discussion. Thanks for your valuable inputs. I think everybody sitting here and everybody watching this will really find it very useful for their entrepreneurial journey and even for their life journeys otherwise. And I think we are right on time. So I don't think we have any time for the questions. They are here, so if anybody has questions for them, I'm sure they can interact with them during the course of the day and get their valuable inputs and feedbacks on whatever they want. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you, Mohit, and thank you all.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I request everyone to be on the stage, please, for the photography session. And also, after the photography session, I would like to invite Ms. Janvi Pawar from Sakal Media Group, to present a memento to our moderator and panelist. Yes, please be on the stage. Now I would like to invite Ms. Janvi Power from Sakal Media Group. Yes, to give away a memento as token of love and appreciation to our session 1 moderator and panelist, Mr. Mohit Joshi, Mr. Vijay Sunku, Mr. VKC Rasak, and Mr. Pradeep Chole. Yeah. Please be generous in giving a round of applause, dear ladies and gentlemen. Yes, once again, a group photo. Everyone, please be on the stage. Thank you so much. Yeah, please take your seats. Yes, before we move on to the next session, we have a few gifts to give away and we have a few questions and we are going to name it like Mathrubhumi Quiz 1, 2 and 3. And the first question is quite very easy. So may I request you to please keep your phone aside. Please don't Google whatever I'm going to ask because it's such an easy question, very easy question. Okay, so if you know the answer, can you just raise your hands? Whoever know the answer, please raise your hands, okay? So everyone, I hope you have kept your phones aside. Okay, the first easy question is like, what is the capital of Kerala? Can you please raise your hand if you know the answer? Yeah, sir, from your smile. Okay. Yeah, everyone, did you hear my question? This is a Mathrubhumi quiz number 1, question number 1. What's the capital of Kerala? Okay, I can hear a few answers. Yeah. Can you please tell the answer? Okay. From this side, I heard a few answers. And from that side, can you just answer? Please tell me. Okay. So I heard a lot of people saying Trivandrum, a few people saying Kochi. So again, I request you to please keep your phones aside. Those who feel it is Trivandrum, can you just raise your hands, please? I think you're not giving me the attention. Those who feel like the answer is Trivandrum, the capital of Kerala, can you just raise your hands? Yes, now I can see lots of hands are getting raised. And if you feel Kochi is the answer, can you just raise your hands? No. So, the first person whom I saw who told the correct answer is you, ma'am. Yeah. Can you just pass the gift? What's your name, please? Sweetila. Oh, that's a variety name, right? Can we have a big round of applause to Miss Sweetila? And you'll be getting your gift very soon, okay? It's there, here only. Yeah, please be seated. And now, let's move on to the next step. And it's a special session by a special person who is the Managing Director and CEO of HDFC Securities Limited. And he is Mr. Dheeraj Relay. A distinguished career in the financial sector, Mr. Dheeraj Relay has led HDFC Securities to become one of India's most trusted and innovative investment firm, empowering every Indian to become a part of India's growth story. Under his visionary leadership, HDFC Securities has consistently excelled in offering cutting-edge digital solutions and customer-centric services, transforming the way retail investors approach the stock market. Mr. Dheeraj Relay's expertise in fintech, investments and market trends will bring a wealth of knowledge to our discussions. We look forward to his valuable insights on the intersection of finance and media in today's economy. So let's invite Mr. Dheeraj Relly onto the dais with a big, big round of applause. Yes.
Good afternoon, one and all. First of all, Shankar, thank you for having me here. Shankar reached me out a few months ago when he was planning this South India Media Summit. He reached me out that, would you like to participate in this event? I said, happily, I can participate. And especially I have flown from Mumbai today morning, straight from the airport. I'm here to give you some perspective on the capital markets and Indian economy. May not be so much on the media side. I'm sure each one of you are already an expert in the media space, but I will give you some perspective on the capital market. My job is very easy today because as I'm talking about the capital markets and Indian economy, the capital markets are doing very well. Sensex and Nifty are at all-time high level, and those who have been investing into the capital markets are already happy investors. They've made decent money in the last few years, particularly post-COVID. We have seen the great returns in the capital market, so that way the investors are happy. And the big questions here today is that when we are at all-time high level, where do we stand? Are we doing well? Are there any exuberance in the market? Will market continues to perform here? What is the India growth story from here onwards? So let me take you through a few slides and talk about India and capital market. Yeah, we are all familiar with the India growth story. I think we are well poised to continue to grow at 7% plus minus GDP, real GDP, and with 4 to 5% kind of inflation, the nominal growth will be around 11 to 12%. And this has been substantiated by various, authorities, whether it is the World Bank or and so many other players. My take is that even if we have some issues, we'll continue to grow at plus minus 7% as real GDP. And this is all driven with the aspirations of India, a large population. Mr. Vijay made my job very easy when he was talking about the India being a very diverse country and a young country with the median age of just about 28. We have demographic dividends in place in India. The aspiration levels are very high among the Indians. They are all yearning to do more. They are all looking forward to unleash their true potential. And particularly in the southern part of the India, we've seen that how with the help of literacy, education, and thrust on the technology, how we have unleashed our potential. And not only in India, but also Indians are present all over the world and taken the service industry, particularly IT service space, by a storm. So that's something defines India and more so defines the southern India. So India growth story is here to stay. We will witness the robust growth in India. We'll also see the favorable macro environment, and you can see that if you look at all possible high frequency indicators, whether it is GST collections per month, the direct taxes, income taxes collections number that are growing, and also e-way bills or number of passengers traveling on the airlines and so on. I think all possible data points clearly substantiate that the macro environment is absolutely robust, and we are one of the fastest growing economy in the world, and for next decade or so, we'll continue to remain the same. As per Morgan Stanley's estimate, the world's 25% incremental GDP growth is going to come from India. So which clearly means that no one in the world can afford not to include India as important market or important strategy for them. So that's something very, very amazing. And similarly, like what one of the panelists was saying, that India, southern states contribute about 35 to 40% of the GDP, and anybody who is doing business in India cannot afford to miss south or not to focus on the southern market. So similar way, I think I can tell you all possible boardrooms in the world are having discussion about how they can approach India as a market for next 20 odd years, and how they can make most out of their growth. So it's part of the board strategy everywhere. And I think one piece where we have been struggling is manufacturing. We've taken a leap in last 3 decades in service sector side, but manufacturing is one area where we have not been able to contribute. China has taken a leap there, and they could able to become the factory of the world. We have been the office of the world, but China has been the factory of the world. In last 10 years, government has taken many initiatives, whether it is PLI or Atmanirbhar Bharat and many other initiatives. I think we are at an inflection point where from here onwards, for next 2-3 decades, we will see emergence of manufacturing big time in India. We are already seeing Apple manufacturing in India, Samsung manufacturing in India, and many large players, engineering players are manufacturing in India. I think in 2014, we were importing almost 95% of our electronics from the China or other countries. Now we are exporting electronics to the other countries. One area where we are still struggling in terms of our imports is that we have a huge dependence on the crude oil. Almost 85% of our requirement is something we import, and that's where also, if you see, there has been tremendous focus from the government to work on an energy transition. So energy transition through renewables or green or electric vehicles will be a very big theme, and I am sure that in next 15-20 years we will be able to reduce dependence on the fossil fuels, and we will go for a green energy big time. So that energy transition theme will also play out in India. Moving on, I have put some statistics to give you a perspective on where we are in India. Vijay spoke about that India is a country about 1.4 billion people. I'll give you some more data points so that you can get perspective where we are. The deposits are about 213 lakh crore. Mutual fund industry has grown significantly. Now it's about 66 lakhs crore in terms of AUMs, and we have about 17 crore demat holders in India. We've seen the emergence and participation from the retail investors, institutional investors, and it is growing at a rapid pace. So the data clearly speaks volume about how we have adopted the technology. Jan-Dhan Trinity, Jan-Dhan, Aadhaar, Mobility Trinity has played a very big role in democratizing the India as a very large market. The access to market earlier was confined to only few select individuals. There was an information arbitrage also available with the select individuals who had access to the information. I think with the advent of social media and access through the mobile phones, now the information is democratized, and the more and more information and at the same information is available at the same time, at same frequency to all investors, whether they are small investors or they are large investors. So these slides talk about that, what kind of potential we have in India, and a long way to still go in terms of penetration in the capital market and financialization of savings. Historically, India has been investing largely into the physical assets, whether it is in the real estate or in the gold. In fact, we own in India about $2.5 trillion gold in households alone, which is much higher than the gold owned by the many central banks in the world also. So that way, earlier we used to say India is sone ki chidiya. I think that fascination to the gold or buying gold related products is still continuing, and that is making India is rich also today. Gold prices are also at all-time high levels, and with the kind of liquidity we are seeing, I think the gold will continue to do well also. So this was just about some numbers. Yeah. So to beat inflation, you can only beat the inflation in long term with the help of capital markets, stock market, and also with the help of gold. So that way, to this extent, I think Indians who've been investing liberally in the gold as an asset class are, I think, doing a great work. The households, without realizing the potential, or probably they were aware that the commodity is scarce and will continue to grow, they've been investing in this space. However, real estate is something do not outperform the inflation in the long run, and certain fixed instrument also have their own challenges in terms of long term beating the inflation. So capital markets is the very apt method to beat the inflation in the long run. We've seen the emergence of retail investors. The slides talk about how the number of retail investors are growing significantly in the market. We are close to 4 crore investors, unique investors who are actively trading on the National Stock Exchange. There are about 17 crore demat accounts and a long way to go still to penetrate. As I mentioned, that we are seeing the financialization of savings from physical assets to now financial assets, but still a long way to go to allocate more and more into the capital market. And I think capital market will also be a great source of funds for all the entrepreneurs also. We are already seeing a slew of IPOs raising money, risk capital through the capital markets. And I think there are huge opportunities for entrepreneurs to raise capital with through the capital markets, both on the main board and also as a SME board also. So there is a separate section of in NSE and BSE both, where small and medium enterprises can also raise risk capital and list their stocks. So moving on, some more data points. I think most of the data points I have already covered in, but we will continue to do well in the financialization of savings. There is another term I want to introduce you to with. That's something called equitization of the savings. Earlier, investors were largely investing in real estate and gold. Then they started to invest in the fixed deposits. We see that there are 213 lakh crore kind of total fixed deposits and liabilities with the all scheduled commercial banks and small finance bank, whereas mutual fund AUM is just about 66 lakh crore. If you look at the global mutual fund industry, it is always a few multiples of the GDP, whereas in India it's just about 25% of the GDP or so. So which clearly means that there is more scope for financialization of savings, and also within the financialization of the savings there is an opportunity of equitization of savings. This is something I have coined as a term. We have seen that the investors now are educated and have an access to the information and access to the platforms to invest into capital markets through either direct equity route or through the mutual fund route. This chart shows that how the SIPs have been growing. The major issue always retail investors who come across is how to navigate the volatility in the market, timing in the market. I think SIPs is a wonderful instrument to navigate the volatility in the market. You can, whatever sum you can spare on a monthly basis, you can put it in a systematic investment plan, and that will take care of your volatility, because you will enter in the markets at a different price points and different levels, and that will help you to deal with the volatility in the market, and you don't need to worry about the timing in the market. Today, we are seeing about 23,000 odd crore getting invested through mutual fund SIP route every month, and this number has been growing at 2% per month CAGR, almost 25% compounded annual growth rate on a yearly basis. So if we extrapolate this compounding, by January 2028, this number will be 50,000 crore, and by December 2030, this number will be 1 lakh crore per month. So that's the kind of opportunity or growth potential is there in this, and this is the by far the best way to invest in the capital markets. If you are simply paranoid about the timing about the market or volatility in the market, SIPs is the one route you can use. Depending upon your appetite, you can have multiple SIPs also, and you can do weekly SIP, you can do daily SIP, you can do monthly SIP. There are multiple routes are available, and these are very easy to set up. Once you set up, it's an automated debit facility from your account, and you don't need to do every month any incremental effort here. Yep. So, access to the information, since we are talking about the media summit, I think the social media as well as the print media and electronic media have played a critical role, and also many influencers have done great job in democratization of the financial instruments, more so about the equities, mutual funds and direct equities. As I mentioned few minutes ago, that this has paved way for the retail investor to get the access to the information. So there are opportunities in almost all possible sector. I have mentioned only about consumer sector, technology sector, healthcare and IPO. I think defense, PSUs, manufacturing are also doing equally well in India, and they will continue to do well. Bottom-up stock picking is something we specialize. So in case you need any help how to construct your portfolio at HDFC Securities, we can help you with that. Other than this, there are also avenues available to de-risk from the country India level. You can invest in a global investing product. We do offer a global investing platform whereby your experience to purchase whether a share listed in Indian stock market or a share listed in US stock market is absolutely same. So you can, if you are a user of Netflix or Amazon or Meta, which is Facebook, and you want to participate in their growth story, and particularly on a semiconductor side where or a AI side where are less in number of companies that are listed in India, there are opportunities available, so one can explore the global investing platform also. So in short, I think the India growth story is intact and will remain to do well. We will continue to contribute 25% of the world's GDP in next 20 years. That way India will always remain attractive market for everyone. We will see more and more risk capital in the form of FDIs, FPIs coming into the Indian markets, and with retail investors, with HNIs participating in capital market, we have a really bright future ahead for India and the capital market ecosystem. I'll take a pause here and take few questions if you have any questions. I've already heard the bell, so I'm happy to answer any question. Okay, I think I have done a great job in terms of disseminating all the information. You have absorbed all the information. You understood that the Indian growth story is here to stay for long, and financialization of savings will also prosper. Yeah.
Sir, hi sir, your presentation was very nice. My query here is, what is the percentage of investment individual can invest from his salary for SAP?
Good question. I think it depends upon your appetite, how much you can save. But the best method for you to first allocate that this much percentage I want to save and invest, and then spend rest of the money. That could be 30% for someone, that could be 20% for someone, could be 50% for someone. As you have a higher income, you can actually spend, you can actually allocate more for the investments also, because your small fraction of your salary would be sufficient to meet your basic needs.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here, Shankar. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Dheeraj, and please be on the stage. And I would like to invite Ms. Shalmali from Tata Play onto the stage to present him a memento as a token of love. Yeah, Ms. Shalmali from Tata Play, may I request you to please come onto the dais to present him a memento at this point of time. Thank you, Ms. Dheerajuli, and thank you, Ms. Shalmali. Please take your seats. And now is the time to move on to the leadership session 2. And I would like to invite the moderator and panelists for the same. Ms. Preeti Murthy, the president of Group M Nexus. Yes, we heartily welcome you onto the dais. We are thrilled to welcome Ms. Preeti Murthy, president from Group M Nexus, a firm believer in translating vision into reality. Ms. Preethi's unique blend of extensive experience in strategizing business vision and executing actions across industries has helped achieve growth above and beyond. As a trusted client partner, Ms. Preeti has nurtured an organizational culture comprising client-centric approaches, purpose-driven processes, growth mindset, and innovation. Achieve a position as the top 100 digital influencers in India. Can we have a big round of applause for her? Yes. Top 100 digital influencers in India for creating a more significant impact. Aggressive implementation of weekly PR strategies led to winning awards, industry-wide and global recognition. Once again, welcome you onto the dais. You are already here. Please take your seat, and I would like to invite the other panelists to join her. Mr. Arjun Ranga, CEO, N. Rangarao and Sons. Mr. Vivek Nambishan, Managing Director, Nambishan's Dairy Private Limited. Mr. M.S. Bharat, Founder, Kriyalo. And Mr. Kailash Katkar, Founder and MD, Quick Heal Technologies Limited. Yes, with a big round of applause, let's invite all the panelists for this session too. Yes, and now the stage is yours. Please carry on.
Can you hear me? Is the audio clear? Yeah, thank you. So thank you. I'm really embarrassed because I don't think I deserve the, thank you to them for actually giving me the recognition to be on this stage with such stalwarts. I have worked with Mr. Kailash in the past as well. But I don't think I deserved that introduction at all. And I think we didn't introduce you guys well enough. Because an entrepreneur is something that we all learned from. I started working in an organization. I still working in an organization. But creating that organization for a set of people like us and make it look magical and successful, and then coming on stage humbly like you all to share your wisdoms. I'm very grateful to be in this seat with today, and I thank Ajay for missing out today's session so that I could be here. So thank you all for having me. I also want to thank Shankar and his team as always for inviting me into the South Summit. I am from Kochi, in that sense, born, brought up to a major chunk of my childhood. So this is homecoming for me. But at the same time, I realize Kochi is not the same. I'm coming after more than 10, 15 years this time. And I realize it's a world change, the progress this city has seen, the growth, way of living is far ahead than many metros. We all know it. And it's quite visible. So I'm very happy to be here today. I have a list of questions from Ajay, but forgive me in advance if I'm nervous a bit. Because I was, of course, I knew about all of you, and I knew what and all you've got into by growing your business. Ajay did give me a feedback. But apart from that, actually, I've followed you all in your own journeys. Either some of the brands that I've seen in my childhood or some of the brands I've worked with in the past, right? And it's very interesting to see that we have a session like leadership lessons, right? And to understand what leadership really means, right? What it means for you as entrepreneurs driving it. And not just first generation, but also second generation entrepreneurs like you, who'd seen a different style. And in Mojo's panel discussion also, we were talking a lot about that. But today's discussion on leadership session 2 is a leader is someone who has the power to influence and guide a team toward their shared goals. Others often seen them as visionaries with charisma, integrity, and a talent for motivating others. I think we have a great combination here of people who are doing it consistently. Like, if I quit a job, I can easily say, it's okay, I'll go to the next company and do the same thing or do it differently. You don't have such choices. You don't have the choice of having a fluctuating leadership style or, thinking about it differently this year versus next year. It's a consistent growth for you all. Arjun and Vivek, you've taken a legacy business, transformed it, gave it a shape that is to your nature, vis-a-vis your past predecessor, your parents and everybody. So how did you bring about your personal vision in both your businesses, respectively? And if I can go with you first.
Thanks, Preeti, and good morning to everybody. So my story was, so I took over the family company in 20 years old, and that was 27 years before. And so when I took it up, this brand Ambitious was started in 1932, and we've already crossed about 80 years, but then it was a sick company. Nobody wanted it. None of the family members were interested in the business. All my cousins went abroad to study. They had their nice and they were happy. All the elders were running the business just because they were all a part of it and they inherited the legacy. And so I was the only person from the younger generation who wanted to take up an ailing business. I didn't want to. I could have also chosen the other part. But then the first day I remember when I came into office after taking over the family company and all the shares and it all, my dad and me picked up the whole from the uncle. I understood that we had 6.5 months of salary pending to our employees. We had sales tax not paid. We had PFs not paid for 8 months. We had purchase tax cases. We had pending debts to creditors. We had pending debts to banks. So this was my first day when we took over the company. But I think it took us 10 long years to come from minus to zero. And I'm so glad that today we are in a position where in Kerala and Middle East, we are one of the leading premium brands in terms of ghee. And we service about 30,000 outlets in Kerala. My sales team touches 30,000 outlets every day. And we are in about 18,000 outlets in Kerala. And we are in about 8,000 outlets across the Middle East market as well. I think 2.5 minutes is quite short to take a long story. But I think we've come back. I would also love to hear from Arjun and the others as well. Thank you.
Yeah, I think my journey was very, very different. I was blessed. We're in the third generation now. My grandfather started the business in 1948. The second generation grew it to be the #1 brand in the country and the largest selling agarbatti brand in the world. We are called Cycle Pure Agarbattis. We diversified quite a bit. The group has multiple business interests ranging from agarbatti to aerospace today. So I did my engineering and then I did my MBA. Our family requires us to work outside before we come back and join the family business. So I was blessed and I was lucky that there was something for me to come back to in India. I joined the business in the year 2000 and father and uncle said, you please script our exit. Tell us when you want us to go out and then you can then take more responsibility. So not just business responsibility, they also transferred their shares on to us in the third generation. So I've been here for the last 25 years and the biggest worry for me every day is the fact that there are 30,000 families dependent on me, but the biggest strength I get also is the fact that these 30,000 families stand behind me no matter what decision I take. So, and I'm blessed with the blessings of our elders and amazing employees. And the biggest challenge for me day in and day out is to ensure that the culture with which the organization was built, the value systems that we hold dear, I continue to maintain and take the legacy forward. Yeah.
That's so I'm actually having goosebumps, guys. I don't know about you, but this is such a wonderful story. It's real, it is here, and they are here too. So thank you for sharing that in that 2 minutes. Kailash and MS, you both have built a very successful technology and new age business in a very short time. So to you both, how you started off and how did you guide your teams to achieve your vision and translate it into their vision?
Well, I thought the technologist would go first. Thanks for categorizing me as a technologist. Namaskaram, Vandanam, Namaskar. I am a South Indian from Chennai, born in Trichy, studied in Pune, started my practice in Delhi. I am a lawyer by profession. I am an intellectual property lawyer. So thanks for categorizing me as a technologist, because Microsoft possibly recognized our firm as truly paperless, first truly paperless firm in the country. Today we are 22 lawyers, 10 support staff, specializing in intellectual property and technology laws, based in Chennai. It's quite a task, right? So when you are a lawyer and you have 700-800 clients, not just registering or enforcing brands before Indian courts, if they have 100 brands each, and then you have to see how many different infringers are there, not just in India, and every market of the world. It's impossible to go back to traditional ways of carrying on a law firm. And traditionally in India, law firms were controlled and owned by one or two single individuals. So we wanted to be the first professionally owned, professionally driven law firm specializing in full service IP. And hopefully we are already in the right direction and the right space. Last but not the least, passing on the vision is only threefold, is to find the right leaders, give them the right vision, and most importantly, give them the best resources. So those are the 6 words: right leaders, clear vision, great resources. Rest is all magic. You just need to sit back and let them perform rather than be the... so many parts of the country, most lawyers start becoming God. In God's own country, I can say that when the lawyers forget that they are service providers, they become the problem for the clients. Because what happens is, in a profession, many persons think that I am God, you've come to me, I'll make you wait. So that's the challenge, to break the shackle, make every lawyer or service provider in the office understand that client is God, put them ahead of them, ahead of all of us, and be a service provider rather than becoming the problem, rather than solving the problem they come to us for.
Good. So, first, I would like to introduce myself. I am a Kailash Katkar. I am a founder and managing director of Quickhill Technologies. I would like to thank Shankar for really inviting me here and giving me this opportunity to be part of this panel discussion. I know Shankar for last 22 years, and I am part of this summit also. For last 3 summit, I was part of this summit. About me as a visionary and, taking this vision to that next level of my team or my leadership is something which even I was not aware of what I am doing actually. My company is a bootstrap company, so nobody was really interested in me in investing in my business, and nobody believed in my business actually. So when I used to repair calculators, and when I came across first time computer, I immediately thought that these computers are going to change what I am doing today, so I have to learn computers. So in Pune, when there was no computer classes, no bookshops, such a big bookshops, I went to Mumbai. I got a book and I learned computer repairing, and I started repairing. When I was repairing computers, I came across virus, and I pulled my younger brother, because I forced my younger brother to go to computer education because he was very much interested in electronics, which I used to do the repairing part of it. So he used to see me, and he was more inclined towards the electronics part of it. But I told him that future is all about computers. So he was the first. He was the student of the first batch of computer science in Pune. And I pulled Sanjay there inside. When I was working with my younger brother, at my home, my mom used to look at me, and she used to see me working so hard and, doing a lot of work and generating money. And my younger brother used to sit in front of computer entire day. And then she used to come and tell me that, why are you spending your money with this boy? He's just sitting in front of that machine. He's doing nothing. And how is he going to help you? And then it was so difficult for me to really make my parents realize that what we are doing, because all surrounded people, all my relatives, families, nobody knew what we are doing. And we continue doing that. And my focus was always something that, I have to do something new which is totally niche in the market. Nobody is doing it. So sort of like I was hunger for the respect. Like I do something which is different than others. Nobody does it. And that really forced me to learn every time something new. And even my younger brother Sanjay. And today we have a team of around 1,000 people in our organization. And we are continuously innovating. Like in our technology, when we are working on a cyber security, people say that, we do innovation now. This person is an IP expert person. He must be knowing that part of it. And people talk about, okay, whatever you do something, please do that patent registrations and everything. Okay, we will do it. We do it. That is a bit difficult, means understanding part of it. A lot of lawyers help me, and I have done a lot of patent registrations also. But in my opinion, whatever innovation we do, the life is not even a one day. It is just for few hours actually. It is just for few hours, because suddenly there is a new attack which is happening from somewhere, and then we have to do the innovation part of it. So in our organization, there's a 24 hours continuous innovation. And even in finance also, people talk about, like, whatever you have designed, developed, you need to capitalize that. I used to ask question, what is a capitalization and how do you do it and why do you do it? And they used to say that this is going to generate revenue for you for a long time. I used to tell them that yes, it will generate revenue, but within next hour I have to generate something, I have to innovate something new. If I don't innovate something new, even this product is not going to sell in the market.
True.
So this is my journey actually.
So wonderful to hear that. So it's a constant innovation, everyday culture.
Yes,
I
constant.
understand.
Every hour, every moment actually.
Wonderful. Arjun, you wanted to add something? Oh, no. Okay. So that's very interesting perspective, right? Though all are owned businesses, but a very different texture to how you look at the way you manage it because of your individual strength. But also there is, as I see it, right? I'm from a family which was only, corporate jobs, right? I'm married to some family which is, my husband's the only one who's done a corporate job. They all have their business, some business or the other. It could be hotel, it could be a pharmacy, it could be somebody's a doctor, but none of it is a corporate. So they don't understand what I do most of the time. But at the same time, when you scale up and you are scaled business and a large corporates, right? How do you differentiate the emotion of the business to the corporatization of the business? And this is for all of you. The question is all of you. It's a tough one because I have been taught that don't get emotional about the job, but I'm super emotional about where I work and what I do.
Right. Firstly, next time you ask a question, please tell us how much time we have, because I'll spend half an hour explaining this.
that the bell will tell us.
No, so it'll be just one of us speaking most of the time. Right. Okay. For me, I think I'm an engineer, right? And I've joined a family business with a legacy. We have a solid brand that's created over the years. First, how do I ensure that the brand stays alive, right? 75 legacy is one side, but then we need to ensure that it sustains for 75 years going forward. Every time I ask, everybody says, yeah, from my grandfather's time we've been using, but I want your grandchildren to use. And that's the challenge that I face. So how do you stay relevant? How do you stay current? How do you stay actually updated? So we became sustainable. I think that's one of the core values that I believed we stand for. We are an agarbatti brand, but we personify hope. People pray for a better future. And I said, if I don't take care of Mother Earth, who else will? So we then became the first zero carbon incense manufacturer in the world. We've also the first FMCG company today to completely offset our plastic footprint. We have the biggest distribution network as well. We directly reach 8 lakh retail outlets in India. We export to 75 countries. We produce 12 billion agarbatti sticks. And when anybody prays, you're paying 50 paisa for that agarbatti stick. When you're buying a new computer, when you have a virus attack, when your IP lawyer creates a new patent, when you're, buy a new cow for your dairy, you're going to pray with 2 agarbatti sticks and break a coconut. And I need to ensure that those 12 billion sticks are taken care by each and every prayer, and your agarbatti stick can't stop burning. Fragrance should be perfect. Yeah. And that's the challenge that we face. So technology has become an integral part of our business. But beyond that, I think what we are here for is to take care of India's prayers and India's dreams for the future. And that's the motto with which every employee in our company works. They say we are not selling agarbatti, but we are delivering hope day in and day out. And with that in the center, a mother's hope for the children's future, our company works, and our employees are the heart and soul of who we are today. Without our employees, we wouldn't be where we are. Right? Everything else apart.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Any other points, Amy, if you want to add?
Sure, Preeti. So I have a different perspective because today corporates are looking at the family businesses and corporates are buying the family businesses. So that's the trend that we've been seeing. It's always, so the word corporate is, as long as you have a vision, mission, and as long as you have a very transparent business, as long as there's a good work culture, and as long as your intention of is shown in the product that you sell. I think all of us are corporate by nature, and that's what I think it means. And when family businesses, it was always very tough to do that earlier, but today, I think across family businesses, I think there's a lot of work culture and a lot of innovation, there's a lot of technology into it. I think today it's the reverse. I think corporates are looking at the family businesses, and I think we've all been proud to say that we've been part of the family businesses.
Yeah. So good to hear that.
I'll just quickly add, most of what we do is about emotions. It's emotion of the client because from morning till night they kind of build the brand, and there's a lot of emotional connect between the owner and the brand or the technology because they develop. We as protectors for those need to keep their emotion out of our emotion. Our emotional in the business is to ensure that our culture and values are kept. So there has been instances where we had to work on a particular project. At the end of the project, at the start of the project, we agreed on a fee. When the client said, I'll pay you cash, we said, no, you can take back the file, but we need to keep our values in
place.
So when you scale, when you have 20 lawyers, 40 lawyers, 50 lawyers in more than many locations, unless you have your value and core instincts in place, scaling is not possible.
Understood.
And in terms of emotions, I think while we appreciate and have to give practical advice, we need to keep our client's emotion absolutely in respect, but not get it mixed up with our emotions.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
Yes, I think all of them have really spoke very well about this part of it. For me, it is a continuous learning journey about this part actually, how to scale the business towards the corporate level and all this thing. See, me being a bootstrap company, I have never worked for any corporate company. So understanding that corporate culture without any experience, so I have to depend on some consultant or some other people. And if you really try to understand their advice, it is very difficult because it doesn't fit with our culture part of it. And as a promoter driven company, it is more from a cultural driven company and more from a emotional driven company, because my vision was always to make sure that, you know, the customers should trust us, and that is what I have built in entire my team. But if you have to really scale your business, that corporate culture is very, very important, and that I have learned today. Today I spend very minimal time in my office. I focus more on strategy part of it, because I have strong leaders in my organization coming from a big MNC companies and all this thing. And when I get them in my organization, I saw that, you know, the way of thinking, the way of execution, the way of strategy, initiatives, building, execution is totally different than what I used to do. And that is really taking company to that next level. I see that you really need to have a balance between the corporate culture and the promotional driven culture, because that promotional driven culture is always a long-term vision, and the corporate driven culture is always a short-term vision, because they always look for a quarter-on-quarter result actually. Okay, and if you really focus on quarter-on-quarter result, you might lose a good people in your organization. And if you stick to your promoter-driven vision, company scaling, because people don't value your company in that case, because people see that, okay, they don't speak on a quarterly this thing, they don't have a, you know, visibility, they don't give guidance and all these things. So I have gone through this thing and I wanted to learn all these things. That's the reason, even though I was having a good fund with me, still I went for an IPO just to learn all this thing, to understand the investors' mindset, the FMCG people sitting, some of them are sitting here because just now Dheeraj was here. So how they look at the organization, how they judge the organization, how they value the organization. Most of this finance company, they believe that, especially from the Western world, they believe that promoter chalata hai to, you know, something वो उनको confidence नहीं रहता उतना. They want a good promoters, but they don't want that management to be driven by the promoters, you know. And Indian FMCG people, they believe 50-50, that they see that बिना promoter का company चल नहीं सकता properly. But वो जो institutional culture है, that is very important. And उसी में सच में it's like a thin line which you need to balance both, to retain a good employees and give that innovation to your product and make sure that customer still continue trusting you, because after all, success of business is customer trust, and customer trust will only happen if you emotionally get connected to the customer, understand the customer problem and solve the customer problem. As Bharat said, ki customer is a God first. Hum God nahi hai, customer God.
Customer God. Wonderful. Thank you for that. And I think we are kind of time up. But before we wind up, any pearls of wisdom to some budding entrepreneurs here who might be first generation in the coming future that you want to leave behind as a thought, saying these are things that you need to think or do? And each of you, one or two wisdoms.
For a first generation entrepreneurs, I would say that when I started my journey, at that given time, that kind of information, knowledge, that kind of support, that kind of openness from the family and from the government was not there. आज की तारीख में, like, there are lot of facilities, lot of informations are available. Even if the banks are not ready to finance, there are a lot of VC funders and people are there to support you and fund you. There are a lot of mentors available, entrepreneurs who are ready to give freely mentorship to this new generation for a new entrepreneurs. Lot of experienced people who had worked in like, you know, America and all this thing, they are coming back and at a low salary they are joining to startup companies. They are helping startup you know, entrepreneurs. So I think people like young generation should take that advantage of this thing, you know.
Wonderful. Yes.
So, so I'm somebody who doesn't believe in giving advices, but it's always an experience sharing because each person is different. So what works for me will never work for you. So, but then if I have to put it in a line, I think as long as you're passionate, as long as the fire inside is really burning hard, as long as you're able to sustain that and work towards it, I think you'll just find your path. I think I wish all of you all the very best.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, again, taking cue, sharing the experience, a lot of us start organizations by thinking that finance or revenue is important. According to me, what would be important is the purpose and the why. The revenue would follow. When I say what Arjun was mentioning, that we want to be zero carbon emission. Similarly, every organization, and also the previous speaker from the previous also said that we are completely natural. And so if you are an organization, you should know what is the purpose of the organization to the society first, whether you are a product or a service provider, and then inculcate within the organization so that they understand that money and revenue crunching is not the start and end of all. Thank you.
Yeah, I think we have a family office, so we do fund startups. And I've seen the biggest difference. The most successful startups, the youngsters have family support. They're not fighting with the family to run a business parallelly. The second biggest thing that I've seen is they do this full time. The startup is their life. They'll have a job and they'll do the startup on the side. I think these are the two biggest warning signs for any entrepreneur out there. Do it, give you 100%, go wholehearted out. Everything else will fall in place if you believe in your idea, and ensure that you sell your idea of your business first to your family. If your mother, father, brother, sister, wife don't believe you, how can you sell your idea to anybody else? So first sell your idea to your family, get them on board, let them believe in what you want to do, then you will fly. And that's the only two things I want to say to budding entrepreneurs.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you, gentlemen. It was a pleasure hosting you all. Thank you, Shankar and team again. And thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry.
No, I said thank you.
Now, I also wanted to thank Shankar and the original Bharat of this country, Bharat, apart from this one. Thank you.
Any questions?
Any questions?
Yeah, the third bell didn't.
Yeah, I think we gave up on the bell. So, any questions?
I just wanted to tell one thing, that you must have got this anti-fraud ka gift from Quickhill. This is a new product of Quickhill which is going to get launched on 10th of October. It is still not available on Google Play, but I just wanted to install this on your mobile. This is an anti-fraud which there are a lot of frauds are happening, like a lot of fraud calls are coming, a lot of fraud SMSs are coming. This will protect you from that. This will give you the alert on time, and I want your feedback to be given on that part of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hello. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for such an interesting session and the experience you have shared with all of us. And after this photo session, I would like to invite Mr. Anish Varghese, CMO, Joy Alucas, to please come onto the stage and present them a memento as token of appreciation. Yes. Here we have Mr. Anish Varghese from Joy Alucas. He's the CMO of Joy Alucas, and so I request you to give away a memento to each one of them, all the panelists and moderators. Yes. Now a photo session all together, and we have one more venture remaining, right? Yeah. Yes, a photo session together, please. Thank you so much, and please take your seats. Now we have here Mr. Anto Augustine, Managing Director and Managing Editor of Reporter Broadcasting Co. Private Limited, to a distinguished panel. Under his leadership, Reporter TV has emerged as a credible and trusted news source known for his bold, unbiased reporting and cutting-edge content. With a deep commitment to journalist integrity and public service, Mr. Augustine has consistently championed the role of media in upholding democracy. And now, on behalf of Mr. Anto, Mr. Dr. Arun Kumar, Consulting Editor from Reporter TV, will be speaking with us now. Yeah, I would like to invite, yes sir, with a big round of applause, let's invite Dr. Arun Kumar from Reporter TV onto the stage, please.
Of millions and the integrity of the news stands for truth above all. Reporter News Network, powered by the strength of Kerala's finest journalists and backed by cutting-edge technology, Reporter stands as a trailblazer in the media industry, creating platforms for the people, amplifying the voices of truth. Reporter has swiftly become the voice of the masses. Reporter. In every crisis faced by Malayalees, both within Kerala and abroad, Reporter has been a pillar of support. From awakening the authorities and highlighting lapses during the battle for Arjun in Shirur, to shedding light on the rescue operations during the devastating Wayanad landslides, Reporter has stood firm, unwavering in its journalistic duty. Reporter spearheads unique initiatives to safeguard Wayanad, driving unparalleled projects to reclaim the region, showcasing a commitment to social responsibility, not through words, but through action. During the great Indian election coverage, Reporter transformed into the voice of democracy, becoming the complete election channel. Reporter has swiftly risen to the top of the ratings, surpassing the most prominent names in Malayalam news media and solidifying its position as Kerala's #1 news channel. The Reporter brings news, important topics and events from Asia's largest AR, VR and XR news studio to audiences with unparalleled viewing experience. With a deep commitment to social responsibility, Reporter bridges the gap between the people's issues and authorities, ensuring immediate solutions. This is a new chapter in Kerala's media history, the lone warrior for truth. Reporter, fact matters.
Hi, good afternoon. It's almost 1 p.m. It's a midday meal time. So I have to confront your appetite as well. So I insist Shankar and Bharat to provide them beautiful, delicious Kerala meals. You have arranged it for them, right? Since it's Onam Eve. Have you heard about Aranmula Valla Sadhya? Anybody here? Non-Keralite? So Aranmula Kerala Sadhya, that means it's a Valla Sadhya, it's a feast, which is distributed as part of a customary ritual practice in a temple in Aranmula, where they provide almost 99 side dishes along with your main course. Nowhere in India you can find this much diversity in a single leaf. 99 dishes and one main course. So I actually wish to compare this thali into this media landscape. Ramchandra Guha, the very non-historian, once compared Indian diversity as a beautiful thali. So I compare this media landscape of India as a beautiful thali, where the North India represents the main course. Of course, the major political drama happens there. But the South India represents the sweet diversity along with the main course. That's why South India Media Fest matters in that sense, and I appreciate Shankar and Bharat for this wonderful opportunity. Let me tell you one thing. Our reporter channel is a rebranded product. I want to tell you this because the license of the news channel was almost 1 decade old. But when we took it to renovate, to rebrand, it was just 30 weeks after we reaching the 100% cable connectivity and the DTH platform. The very first 2-3 weeks we had a complacence in our mind. We believed with speed, accuracy and technology, we can win the heart of the viewers. But unfortunately, that was a wrong assumption. After 24-25 weeks of our hard effort, the editorial team, the field staff and the desk team, the marketing, technology, all the people with the most cutting-edge technology in any news channel, because we are using zero density, we are having augmented reality, we are having extended reality, we are having virtual reality, and we explored all technological avenues for a regional news channel. No other news channel in the world perhaps using this kind of technology for daily news dissemination. They may be using for the election and counting days, etc. But for every day we are using it. But even after 24-25 weeks, our position were not grown up. We were in the 5th position only. After 24 weeks, with the speed, because almost 60% of the news content we bring to the screen for the first time. That means we bring it compared to other news channels. 60% of the content we break, first on reporter. And we have accuracy. We will always cross-check with the other part. And zero, almost zero error. Even though there are error compared to other channels, we have small error happening on our news screens. So we have speed, we have accuracy, and we have technology. But still, we were trailing in the 5th position. Then we were in trouble because we can't bleed the channel for long. And then suddenly what happened on the 30th week, we have one incident reported in Karnataka, perhaps you may be knowing, the Shiroor accident. And that accident was an eye-opener, not only for reporter channel, but for all the people, and perhaps this will be an interesting story for all the people who are here. You may be having the best resources in the world, speed, accuracy, technology, but if you are lacking the 4th vital component, you can't win any media market. So remember, a truck driver became the talk of the town. All the news channels continuously, seamlessly broadcasted the news reports on the this truck driver, Arjun, who was a resident in Calicut. And actually what happened? The 31st week when the BARC result came, we registered, I can't share you the unrolled data, we got the best result on BARC which never a news channel in India had. Trust me, that was almost equal to an entertainment channel. That was almost equal to an entertainment channel. So normally we register that kind of a growth during election season. But for a particular driver, we had a continuous seamless live. Remember, this actually was not an isolated incident. Then the Wayanad landslide happened. And from the 30th week onwards, our BARC rate was actually rising like anything. And we identified there is a 4th vital component in any media industry. That is, even if you have speed, accuracy, technology, if you're not connecting to the people emotionally, you can't win the heart of the people. At first, you have to believe that. You believe in them, their emotions, their life. Perhaps it was an age-old concept that all the news people or the news-watching audiences are without heart, only the brain. They analyze, they rationally think. But no. For the South market, they have rationality and emotional component in their viewership pattern. So if you address it tactically, if you address it genuinely, without hiding, without without any other add-ons, then definitely the people will come to you. So I made a formula. Stay connected to the people, people will be connected to you. So that was the connection and the engagement factor we had. That's what I'm going to present within 5 minutes, the growth of our channel from the 31st week onwards. And I want to, just to show you some slides only. Sir, please. Yes. See, we have 100% connectivity, and we have the maximum reach. We are number one in the reach because we have 100% connectivity in the DTH and in the cable network as well. It's not only in the matter of connectivity and the reach, the engagement factor that matters. So for the engagement factor, we have the best editorial team with resources as well as the storytelling narrative capacity. And when you present the news, definitely normally the 50 age group comes to in your mind. It is a target group for any news channel or any news market. But for us, the universe was the first major target group, and we broke into that pieces for these people, 15 to 50 category age group. Normally the retired people, after 40 or 45, they are still in their household in the daytime. We came to them, we told the story, and we presented what's happening in Lebanon as a storyteller in a simple, lucid format with the technology, and that the people believed that yes, there is content in them. Then we introduced a new program called Meet the Editors. The program, actually, that was the first of its kind, because all the editors differ on a particular topic of the day, and they take positions not because of any partisan affiliations, because of the value point they pursue or they have, and they differ and they debate and sometimes they quarrel. Since the prime time debate was with the political party representatives, but actually we replaced it with the editorial discussion. No guest was invited for the discussion. All the editorial members came and started debating a particular topic, taking some positions. So actually that created a kind of a feeling that we are inclusive in the audiences, we are inclusive in the news coverage and its analysis. All the viewpoints were reflected. Left, right, center, all the political positions got reflected. And at last, a conclusion based upon a voting was arranged. If we have 5 editorial members, then we are with a motion, 5-2 or 3-2 or 4-1, etc., etc. So in that kind of an impression that it created the feeling that our news broadcasting industry has an inclusive approach towards the news items. So speed, accuracy, technology and connection and inclusiveness. That was the actual hallmark and the formula of the channel Reporter TV. And now I will just show you some of the programs. Actually this program, Coffee with Arun, I branded in my name, Coffee with Arun, and definitely I will start a coffee shop soon. Actually when we started this, we were competing a different band. When I visited US, then I found that it was not the evening discussions that was the prime time debates catching audiences there, because the evening no people are there in the household. But in the morning shows actually have the maximum viewers in US. Take all Indian news channels. Then when I was in the New York city, some people came and asked me, why can't you think about taking a prime time news show with a prime time news anchor? That time I was working with the 24 news channel. And then I came back, then I discussed this with our MD there. Then we identified that there is a particular band is happening. There is something happening in the morning band between 7 to 10. When the people start wake up after waking up, before getting into their daily jobs, they will simply search the news for some items. If there is some person to disseminate something which are useful for them daily, and a quick recap of what is happening on the day, the people will stick. That clicked in 24 channel. And again, all other news channel came. And later, when we came, what we found was actually marketed by another channel. Then you have to make a new ingredient to that. Then we adopted a new strategy. That connect with the people, engage with the people, tell the news in its comprehensive manner as a story. Then we started telling its story. So what, as a result, we came top on this band in the morning day session. From 7 to 11. From morning 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. single anchor with more than 24 field reporters on field. Recapping the stories happened yesterday and the potential news day in an hour or in half an hour. Then we got this morning band. Then another one was the Sujaya Parvati show in the evening show. And another tough task was between 4 to 7. That was evening dull time. Normally people will not be there. But still we found that, again, the people from 50 to 70 or 80 age group, people are still there with with an evening tea and snacks. Definitely they need some stories to tell them. As you know, the Kerala people, we have a gerontological nature. That means the age-old people are still more in number in Kerala because all the youths are either going out of Kerala or either going out of India to Europe or the Canada or America for settlement. So age-old people are there. So to cater to their needs, we tell them the soft stories, motivation stories, funny stories, and the stories and the add-on stories, and we packed in that category. And Sujaya Parvati's vibrant presentation also agreed to sell this point as well. From the very first week itself, we could dominate on this band, 4 to 7, the evening band. Again, addressing that group. This was the Meet the Editors, that was the prime show. Between from 9 to 10, the editorial people sit and they debate, they quarrel. Sometimes many things happen in way, dramatic things happen. But remember, this is not a scripted show. It's not a scripted show. I take a position, sometimes a kind of a left liberal position. Another anchor may take some kinds of a center media position. Another anchor may take a rightist position. So definitely there are arguments. Because we are the first informed people. Because we are in the newsroom. We get every details of the news happening on the day, rather than any other political guest who is getting some pieces, some corners of the news. We are getting the full 360-degree perspective. So we can present it in its authenticity. So people like this, and still remember the political representatives, leaders, the referred public, the influencers watch our show at 9 p.m. to make opinion. And when we interviewed one candidate in Thiruvananthapuram, he told me that I regularly watch a show with a pen. We sit and to quote you in our conferences. Actually, this we consider as a media person, it's very important. So why do you invest in the political leaders? You invest in yourself. You present their perspective. Since you are the better informed people, definitely the people will be connected to you. And that was the show, Meet the Editors. And of course, there are many debates on that, whether the editors should present that kind of a thing, etc., etc. Okay. These are about our augmented reality presentations. Remember, I challenge, no other regional news channel in India have extensively invested on this, like this. We had the Chandrayaan mission, Hiroshima Day, new parliament inauguration, Vizhinjam airport, Dhanushkodi, and you must advise each one of you to at least watch this Dhanushkodi augmented reality show. That won international awards as well. Dhanushkodi project. We recreated what happened in Dhanushkodi. Remember, a news channel created a half-an-hour show on a historical kind of an archaeological significance in a storytelling format. And you will enjoy this. Watch this. This is still on YouTube. And on Shirur accident, 1.2 million viewers. 1.2 million viewers in the very 2 days. The very first 2 days we got on the online. On that Shirur accident. On the Wayanad, again we created another history. 50 minutes augmented reality thing. We have the best augmented reality, extended reality team with us, and they are actually creating wonderful products. So, if you go to the GRP analysis, I'm not going to waste on this. This is the present position. We are number 1. In the 37th week, we reached the topmost position. The urban category, target group. with a 94.45. The percent to week 38, 93.91. Again, we are keeping the first position in the urban category target group. And in the 15-50 category as well. 15-50 category as well. And in the universe, we are just trailing to the first candidate with 3 points. Only 3 points, remember. The Asianet News. We are all 3 points. We are just 37 weeks old. 37 weeks old. So this is it. This is the reach. We are number one in the reach from 36 week, 37, 38. We are number one with the 55 is the reach point in the mark. So this is for you two people. So that's about Reporter TV. Speed, accuracy, technology, and connection. Thanks. And Shankar, don't forget the lunch. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for such an interesting speech. And now I invite Mr. Anto Augustin to please come on the stage to receive the memento. And in order to give away the memento, I would like to invite Mr. Venkat, CEO, Havas Media Network. Yeah, sir. Thank you. Please take your seats. Now, let's move on to the Havas Media Network Award Distribution Ceremony. As our agency partner, Havas Media Network, India's Meaningful Brand Award is not just about market success. It's about recognizing those who leave a lasting imprint on the hearts and minds of their customers. These are the brands that embody timeless values, inspire trust, and create deep, genuine connections that stand the test of the time. Today, we honor those who have made a profound impact on the communities they serve, showing resilience through change while staying true to their core essence. To all the recipients of Havas Media Network India Meaningful Brand Award, we salute your unwavering dedication. You are the gold standard of excellence, setting a powerful example of what it means to build a legacy rooted in meaningful impact. So we are moving on to the Havas award distribution ceremony, and to give away the awards, first of all, I would like to invite Mr. Mohit Joshi, CEO of Havas Media Network India Limited, to please come onto the stage. And as we are running out of time, I'm going to call up all those who are the recipients of awards. So please come onto the stage a little bit fast so that we can move more faster to the lunch ceremony. I know most of you must be feeling a little bit hungry. Yeah. Okay. Mr. Ramasubramaniam, TTK Prestige Limited. Yes. Let's invite each person with a big round of applause. Mr. Ramasubramanian, TTK Prestige Limited. Mr. Rasak, VKC Group. Mr. Rasak from VKC Group. Mr. Vijay Sunko from Parimal Mandir. Yes, that was Mr. Vijay Sunko, and no, sorry, that was Mr. Rasak, and next Vijay Sunko from Parimal Mandir. Yeah. Mr. George Thomas and Mrs. Soni from ISAF Small Finance Bank. And we have here on the stage Mr. George Thomas and Soni from ISAF Small Finance Bank. Dear all, please be generous in giving the applauses. Come on. Mr. Arjun Bhatia, Matrimony.com Limited. That's Mr. Arjun Bhatia, and I would like to invite Mr. Shankar and Mr. Bharat from 4th Dimension Media to receive the next award from Mr. Mohit Joshi. Thank you so much. And Mr. Anish Varghese from Joy Alucas. Yes. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, Mohan sir. Please take your seat and congratulations once again to each and every one of you. Your work is just a great inspiration, and today here at the South India Media Summit 2024, let's celebrate the journey together. And now, to speak with us, I would like to call a special person onto the stage. We are so much honored to have here Mr. Dushyant Sridhar, a renowned Vedic scholar, to our panel. With his deep knowledge of Vedas, Upanishads and other ancient Indian scriptures, Mr. Dushyant Sridhar has made significant contributions to the revival and understanding of India's spiritual heritage. A popular speaker and teacher, he has delivered lectures across the globe, making complex philosophical ideas accessible to modern audiences. His profound insights into Indian culture, philosophy and spirituality have enriched the lives of many, inspiring a deeper appreciation for the wisdom of ancient texts. So with a big round of applause, let's invite Mr. Dushyant Sridhar onto the stage, please, to speak with us. Yes, you're already here.
भूखंडे केरलाख्ये सरित निहनिलाम उत्तरे नैवनावा क्षेत्राग व्यूतिमात्ने पुनरुपरिनव ग्रामनाम्नि स्वधाम्नि धर्मिष्ठात् भट्टतन्त्रात् अखिलमतपटोर् मातृदत्तद् द्विजेन्द्रात् जातो नारायणाख्यो निरवहद् अतुलां देवनारायणाज्ञाम्. A very good afternoon to all those who are present in this summit. Indeed, a moment of delight and pleasure to have been a part of this summit conducted across various cities in Dakshina Bharatam, like the Bhagyanagara of Hyderabad, Bendegala Uru, which is Bengaluru, Coimbatore, and the city known for its Sangam literature, which is Madurai. A good fair, a very reciprocal and a knowledge-sharing association that I've had with my dear friend Shankar, and this beautiful company that he manages with his set of knowledge-bearing employees is indeed a moment of delight for me. There is a Champu Kavyam in Sanskritam. Champu in Sanskritam means where there is an admixture of prose and poetry. So there is a Champu Kavyam called Bharata Champu, written by a poet called Ananta Kavi, who says that the residents on Mother Earth, they lost access to the incessant flow of ambrosia, which is nectar. So they all went and complained to Mother Earth. And she, being the mother, a doting mother, filled with compassion, she said, I will procure if the stock is over here. So Mother Earth extended her hands upwards and got the ambrosia from the celestials. And those extended hands were the coconut trees. And the poet says you can find them a lot in Kerala, writing it 750 years back. So to the state of Parashurama, to the state that gives a beautiful loom called the Kasavu, to the state that doesn't steam its rice first, whereas grates its coconuts in the morning to fill its dishes with every possible way with coconut and jackfruit. To the furniture that embroiders itself with neem wood, mango and jackfruit. To a state which 250 years before the advent of the integral series in mathematics of Europe had a secret school of mathematics called Sangama Gramam in a place called Tirunava, which is very close to Kuttipuram. With such great but lesser known mathematicians like Achyuta Pisharoti and Narayana Bhattadri, I pay my obeisances to. And the topic that I have been ordained to speak for the day is Bharata as a brand. I'm sure I'll have friends from very different states of Bharata Desham. It has often been a point of discussion, at times a point of memes and ridicules, that people south of the Vindhyas say Bharata and not Bharat. Why? Why that extra A? Because in Sanskritam, you should never ever complete the last letter by cutting half of its pronunciation. It's not Arjun, it's Arjuna. That akaram has to be there. It is not the other way of making it Arjuna, that akarantam is not needed, but it's Arjuna and Bharata. Why do then people say Bharat? They should be sitting for my lecture. So it is Bharata and not Bharat. Technically correct if you want to be. So why Bharata? And what is significant about the word Bharata? You know, the beauty is etymologically when you derive words, you will learn the language much better. Like how the word entre and prenore becomes entrepreneur. So it's entre and prenore. And it's not restaurant, it's restaurant. So every language has its way of saying things. For example, I'm sure there is Mohit Zoshi with us. So in Marathi, it's not Joshi, it's Zoshi. So when you sing Abhangs in Marathi, you will know Madhve Manoratha Purna Kari Deva. So Dha is very important. For example, people who are not speaking Tamil will never get Tamil. It's Kozhikode. ஆழி மழை கண்ணா ஒன்று நீ கைகரவேல் ஆழியுள் புக்கு முகர்ந்து கொடாய் தேரி ஊழி முதல்வன் உருவம் போல் மெய்கருத்து பாழி அம்தோளுடைய பற்பனாபன் கையில் ஆழி போல் மின்னி வலம்புரி போல் நின்றதிருந்து. But the beauty is those of them who protest for the sake of Tamil language never get to say Ra. That said, Bharata is a potpourri or a medley of such beautiful thoughts. How does Bharata feature? And what is this etymological derivation? Etymological derivation is when you get to the root word. For example, I'll just give you an example to get to Bharata. Dhava. Dhava. Telugu varu unnara akkada? So you will know there's an exact pronunciation to every letter. Dhava means husband. In Sanskritam, Dhava means husband. Ma means Mahalakshmi. Mahalakshmi's husband is called Madhava. So when you get the word Madhava, it is derived as the husband to Mahalakshmi. Mas Dhava. So suppose the woman and her husband, she sees her husband dead. So she's without the husband. So she's Vidhava. So it becomes Dhava. Suppose the man loses his wife, it is Vidhura. So he's a widower. So this widower, widow, dhava comes from the root word. So it's very, very important to understand the root word. So this is called the language. That's where we deal in linguistics. Let's take Bharata for example. Bharata means the land that ensures that there is nourishment and wisdom. That land which ensures that there is incessant supply to nourishing wisdom. That's how you call it Bharata. But how is this word connected to certain characters is a very important, probably a pertinent question that should come in the minds of us. One, we have had technically a king that we deal in Bhagavata Puranam called as Rishabhanatha. Rishabham in Sanskritam means a bull. Rishabhanatha, he had, immediately, when I say that Rishabha means bull and there was a person called Rishabhanatha, an iconography person will put two horns above him, just like the Onida advertisement. But when we decipher poetry, it is very important that we get to the nuances of understanding similes and metaphor. If I say that somebody or something or somebody is as fair as the milk, it means the person is fair. That's all. Simile should stop there. It doesn't mean you can end up using the person when you make your set of cappuccino the next morning. So an upama should stop then and there. So Rishabhanatha means he had the gait of that of a majestic bull. So Rishabhanatha had many sons. The oldest of them was called as Bharata. And he had many other sons. One of the prime duties of kings of those days was incessant production too. So he had very many sons, the oldest being Bharata. After relinquishing his kingdom to his oldest son, he said, I retire to the forest. And right from Ayodhya, he is said to have travelled through Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, parts of Madhya Pradesh, some parts of the Aravalis in Rajasthan, then Gujarat, through the coast of Maharashtra. He reached the southern part of Karnataka to a mountain called Kutakachalam. Kutakachala in Sanskrita today means Kodagu or Kurg. See, he is said to have relinquished his mortal body there, and that place became very famous for the advent of Jainism. So Rishabhanatha is the first Tirthankara in Jainism, and the oldest of his sons was called Bharata. Bharata, after having been made the king, the Uttaradhikari, he administers his kingdom well. In those days, most people who ruled or administered were educated and were also scam free. So he administered his kingdom really well, and then he thought, it's high time for me to become a recluse, an ascetic. And he walks up towards the Himalayas and reaches a current day place called as Muktinath or Shalagram, very close to Pokhara in Nepal, where you get those fossiled stones bored by insects called Vajrakitam. So he goes to that place. The 7th century Tamil poet called Tirumangayalvar says, Kalayum, Kariyum, Parimavum, Tiriyum, Kanam, Kadandu Poi, Shilayum, Kanayum, Tunayaga, Shendran, Vendri, Sherikkalathu, Malegund, Alamid, Anegatti, Malinir Kundu, Valarakat, Talaivan, Talaipattaru, Muhandan, Shalakirama, Madainenje. So to that place he goes. He stations his ashrama by the banks of river Ghandaki. Very, very engrossed in his yoga, extremely meticulous in his meditation. One day he sees a pregnant doe jumping from one boulder to the other in the fear of a tiger which was chasing her. The belly of the doe hits the boulder and the little one comes from the amniotic sac and falls to a leaf that is floating by the river. So looking at the little one, just born one which may die, this Bharata, who was engaged in meditation, who saw this, took a plunge into the waters of Ghandaki, protected that little dear one, and nourished and nurtured that as his very own child. He used to give A2 organic grass-fed milk. And then he nourished that little one. All his 24x7 meditation got reduced exponentially down, 22, 20, 16, 14. The rate at which the concentration level goes down as the number of sessions go in a summit like this. So it got reduced, and at one point in time his mind was so much so into the doe that he forgot meditation, and his mind was in the doe. That doe and the little one. And the little one that grew morphologically, anatomically, and then went into the forest. That time, Purana says, when he was thinking of the deer and he died, he became the deer. Because there's a Nyayam called Tatkratu Nyayam. whatever your mind is completely engrossed in, while it is in the state of exiting the gross body, it becomes that. So it became the deer. But the beauty was he remembered what he was. So he started going as a deer hither and thither. Then the Atma left the deer and it came to a learned person's body. But the person was so much aloof from the rest of the world that the rest of the world thought him to be an insentient object and called him by the name Jada. Since he was called Bharata 2 births before, he was called Jada Bharata. This Jada Bharata has an intellectual conversation with the king called Rahuguna Maharaja of Sindhu Sauvira Pradesham. Sindh region is around Karachi. Sauviram is just above that, close to Lahore. And this Sindhu Sauvira Pradesham was very famous for nurturing horses. So hence horses were called Saindhavam. During Mahabharata Yuddham, it is said that horses were imported from that region. So he becomes Jada Bharata. So Jada Bharata is the name, first reason why this Desham is called Bharatam, says Vishnu Puranam. Vishnu Purana says this country is called Bharatam because of this man called Bharata, who was a beacon of hope and knowledge and enlightenment. So the country has always been a place of debate and discussion. This country or this land can never be fed with one thought. That is why if you see Sanatana Dharma itself, there is one philosophy called Advaita of Shankara of this state, which says that everything is one. Ekameva Advitiyam. He says, Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Daivaikanaparaha iti Vedanta Dindimaha. There is only one Tattvam. Go to the neighboring state of Tamil Nadu. Ramanujacharya of Visishtadvaita says, no, that one is true, but that has a body of non-qualified dualism, which is called Vishishtadvaita. You go to the state of Karnataka, Madhavacharya says, no, there are two tattvas, there is Paramatma and Jivatma. So within 3 states, you have 3 philosophies. And if you go to as far as Kamakhya in Pragjyotishapuram of Assam, there is Vamachara cult of Shaktism in Kamakhya temple. You come all the way to Sringeri in Karnataka, you have the Mantrika, the very Vaidika tradition of Shaktism. So this land can never be fed with one thought. That's the uniqueness about this land. It's one tree. Agreed, it's one tree, but very many branches. So it's a highly evolved university with many departments, is what you can put it in mundane sense. So Jada Bharata is one of the reasons. Second, there was a king of the Kuru Vamsham called as Dushyanta Maharaja. At least for namesake, I share his name. But the only thing that I should keep praying is that I shouldn't forget like how he forgot. He was known for his state of being oblivious or going into the state of oblivion, which I cannot afford in a summit like this. So, this Dushyanta Maharaja goes on a sojourn to the forest for hunting. And then, while he is about to hunt a deer, Bho Bho Ho Raja, come 2 ascetics, hermit men, and they say, don't kill this particular deer. The king wondered why. Probably he read an article about a person who went on a shooting spree in Rajasthan and was forced to become human later. So, he said, why shouldn't I be hunting this? Because you're given license to kill. In the US, there are some states of the East Coast where during a certain period you're given the license to hunt. And in New Zealand, in the northern and the southern island, you get the license to hunt and then procure venison. Why shouldn't I? So that's when they say this is actually an ashrama attached animal. We have a GI tag with it. So this belongs to the ashramam of a rishi called Kanva. So do not shoot the animal. It's in the endangered species. Don't do that. The king values the thought of these 2 hermits. And as he moves towards the lake, he sees a woman of spotless beauty, as blemishless as one could be. Since she was abandoned by her own parents called Vishwamitra and Menaka, and she was protected from Mother Nature with the extended wings and feathers of Shakuntaha. Shakunta is a kind of birds. She protected by Shakunta, she was called Shakuntala. So he speaks Shakuntala, she is a beacon of beauty, a personification of how Samudrika Lakshana Shastram should say a woman should be. And she too spots this man of whey protein fed well-built body, who's been working out and doing cardio in regular intervals. So she falls in love with him. Call it love or infatuation at the first sight. They fall in love. And it was one of the 8 approved marriages in Sanatana Dharma, because in one of the 8 approved, Ashtavidhanam Vivahaha, there are 8 kinds of marriages. One Vivaham is called Gandharvam, where you don't have to call anyone, arrange a banquet and a buffet. You don't even have to go to a registrar office. If the girl and the boy like, they can exchange a ring. And both don't have to buy, just one can buy. The most cost effective of all. So this man puts in a ring to her and gives her hope that he will summon her, call her to the palace at the right time with due respects. And the beauty is, this girl is lost in thoughts about Dushyanta Maharaja. She eventually turns pregnant. As she is lost in his thoughts and the ashrama is one day evacuated, nobody else is there, comes a person who was known only for his bad temperament, called Durvasa Maharshi. His rise to fame was cursing anybody and everybody he saw. So he sees this woman, he sees that she is not offering him Atitheya Satkaram, Atithi Satkaram. So he gets perturbed. He keeps reminding her she is completely lost in Dushyanta's thoughts. So this man gives a complicated shapam. He says, you are lost in somebody else's thoughts, so that man whom you are thinking will forget you. Look at the complication. Katham pramattaha prathamam kritamiva. 1800 years back, Kalidasa, the great poet, in Shakuntalam says, what curse he gave? He says that that man will forget you. He's a poet. He has to give a simile, upama. So he says, that king whom you are lost in thoughts will forget you like how? Katham pramattaha prathamam kritamiva. Like on the previous day night when a drunkard says, I will do this and I will do that and will forget the next morning, so will he forget. See, look at the simile and the maturity. 850 years before even the red brick Cambridge was born, here is a poet somewhere in Ujjain giving a simile that can be reckoned and relatable even today. Katham pramattaha prathamam kritamiva. So then she doesn't know about the shapam. As she goes to a second trimester, the gynecologist advises, you have to come with your husband. Then she goes to all the way to the king's palace. The king shows absolutely no sign of remembering her. Then she goes to see her ring. A ring is called Anguliyam, but it's called as Abhijnanam. Abhijnanam is something that gives you a reminder of someone. So she goes searching for our Abhijnanam, her ring is missing. So it's called Abhijnana Shakuntalam. So she doesn't spot, then she goes to the forest. She as a single mother delivers her child. This boy is called Sarvadamana. And later the king remembers through spotting that ring that he had forgotten Shakuntala, goes in search of her, spots the boy, spots the mother, brings the boy home. This boy becomes an excellent administrator. He was so much good as an administrator that he becomes a specimen of how administration should be. So Mahabharatam says this country is called Bharatam because of him. In Ramayanam we come across Rama, who has been asked to rule the kingdom. The father comes and says, you have to rule from tomorrow. He doesn't show much excitement. He says, okay, Papa, and he goes. That very night comes the maid servant and the caretaker, the Montessori caretaker of Kaikeyi while she was young, called Manthara. She brainwashes Kaikeyi in exactly 1 hour 25 minutes. This woman ends up retrieving her 2 boons that she had sought many years back from her husband, who goes into a mild cardiac arrest. So then Rama is summoned, and he's been asked to go to the forest. Being the obedient son during the idealistic times, he says, okay, when my father says go, I have to go. He goes, tells his wife, Sita, are you coming with me? Sita says yes, but then he says, forest is full of misery, stay back. She says, the better option is to come with you rather than staying with so many mothers-in-law here. So when all of them are suffering from good health and nothing untoward is going to happen, it's better choice, a prudent choice to be with you. And as the couple leave their apartment, Lakshmana comes and says, aham sarvam sabhratus charanau gadham nipidhya raghunandanaha sitamuvachatishyam raghavam cha mahabhratam aham sarvam karishyami jagrataha swapataschate. Whether the both of you are awake or asleep, I shall do all kinds of services. Sita says this is the best offer one can get, bring him along. All three of them go to the forest. That is when Bharata, for whom his mother has fought to get the kingdom, comes, understands the situation. He says, I will not rule or stay in Ayodhya even for a single day. That would be detrimental to my very morality and character. So he goes to Chitrakuta, which is by the banks of river Malyavati or Mandakini, the upper part of Madhya Pradesh, requesting his brother to come. That is when Rama wonders, see, if it had been some other individual, that person would have happily ruled Ayodhya, would have produced children, would have ensured that the next 2 generations also end up ruling. And that son might have arranged even a car race. So, that being the situation, how on earth are you a person who is a personification of bhakti? Bharataya param namostu tasmai prathamodaharanaya bhakti bhajam yadupagyam asheshatah pritivyam pratito raghava paduka prabhavaha. What an example of true devotion and sincerity you are, Bharata. So because of Rama's younger brother Bharata, this is called Bharatam. Third, last of all. See, we have been a land of great skills, 64 arts. Narayana Bhattatri of Kerala says, Gatva Sandipani Matha Chatushashti Ratri Mahobihi Sarvajnastvam Sahamusalina Sarvavidya Grihitva Putram Nashtam Yamanilayanad Ahridam Dakshinartam Datva Tasmai Nijapuramagat Nadayan Panchajanyam in Narayaniyam. He says, Chatushashti, 64 arts people knew in those days. You knew how to use mud and make dolls. You knew how to extract minerals and make a dancing doll. The earliest that you find is of the Indus Valley civilization. You knew how to speak. You know how to see. One of the 64 arts is dance. You know, when Rama was asked whether to become the next heir apparent, people asked, what qualification does he have? You know what Vasishta says? Vaiharikaha, he is very good at dance. You may wonder, for an administrator, why should he be good at dance? Because dance teaches you discipline. When you learn a classical dance form, you do, for example, let's take the Natya Shastram of Tamil Nadu called Bharatanatyam. You do Aramandi. You take Kadai Kalikkum, Kali is Kathakali. You present a story in a dance form, it is called Kathakali, because Katha is given in the form of a Kali. Kadai Kali. So Kadai Kalikkum Kaliyana Kathakali. So you have got a Kathakali. Then you have got a Kaikottu Kali. Then there is a dance in Guruvayur called Krishnattangali. Manameno Medoyam, 16th century poet, mentions that. Mohiniyattam, how you use your eyes. See, when you speak, when let's say 100, 200, 500 people are looking at you, you should ensure that your eyes are used well. Abhinayam is a part of dance. How you use your mudras, how you use your hand. That's a part. When you learn dance, you also learn speaking. When you learn music, you learn how to articulate. It will not be a monologue in just one pace. As you go up and you come down, you're able to get that. Sarima pani da pa magari saga. You're able to articulate with your voice. So, every soft skill in Bharatam comes from art. And that art gives you emotion. That emotion is called bhavam. You do that with love, it is ragam. And you do that in a pace, it becomes talam. Bhava, raga, tala is bharata, bharatam. So that's the fourth reason. So, Jada Bharata was a beacon of Jnana Yoga, which tells you, nourish your knowledge and wisdom. Dushyanta's son Bharata, Daushyanti, Shakuntala's son. Shakuntala and Dushyanta's son is Bharata, called Daushyanti, say Shatapatha Brahmana. He was very good in administration, which means how do you manage and run? Today I heard many entrepreneurs speak about their companies. How do you manage your resources? You're not dealing with machines, you're dealing with humans. Each human is different. The sensitivity could be different. How do you manage every human? How do you speak and get your things done? yet not being abusive, verbally, physically, not harassing, not getting a whistleblower's call. How do you manage? How do you even answer a mail? See, answering a mail is as simple as a skill. A person writes a question to you, you have to give a specific answer. You know, some people, I'll give 15 questions, answer will be okay. Okay to what? To my mail or to all the points? And when you have to answer a person, will you be able to come? Yes, I will tell you by tomorrow day end. I'll come back to you shortly. When will that shortly come? See, shortly is because for a lifespan of 120 years in a turtle, 110th year, because a dog will die by the 11th year. You wouldn't know what is shortly. So this is a very customer care answer. A customer care is known to always say that I'll come back to you shortly, which they will never get back because that person will change. So, as simple as answering a mail, specificity. If you ask how many verses of Bhagavad Gita are there, I think, 700 verses, 18 chapters. Numbers were a game of Bharatiyas. That is why we have Katapaya Adi Sankhya. That is how integral series came from Madhava series of Kerala. There is a department in IIT Povai headed by Ramasubramaniam that researches only on the mathematic manuscripts found in Kerala. So, administration. Rama's younger brother Bharata was a beacon of devotion, and Bharatanatyam, Bharata, is about practicing an art. So that word Bharata has administration, it has devotion, it has art, it has knowledge. That's brand Bharata for us. And from Bharata, and our country that carries that Bharata. I will never say discard India. No, India also has a very traditional root from Hindu to the days of Chinese manuscripts. That is for a separate lecture. I'll tell you how from every inscription we got the name Hindu, which became Hindu. That is also a very decisive name that we use. But Bharata has a very deeper connotation. And when we imbibe that as a media channel or as an entrepreneur, as a teacher, as a student into our life, I'm sure when the knowledge is being disseminated and dispensed, it will bear a lot more value and wisdom. With that, I would like to thank you all for staying so much. Namaskaram.
Thank you so much for such an interesting and informative speech. Can we have one more big round of applause for him? Yes. And I would like to invite Mr. Arjun Bhatia from Bharat Matrimony to please come onto the stage and present him a memento as a token of appreciation. Yeah. Thank you, Sri Dushyant Sridhar, and thank you, Mr. Arjun Bhatia. And we are moving on to the last session of the morning part. Yeah. Now I would like to invite Mr. Sandeep S., who is the Regional Business Head, Kerala for the HDFC Mutual Fund, to speak with us. Let's invite Mr. Sandeep S., located at Cochin. He has work experience of over 18 years in you have Mr. Sandeep, right? In the mutual fund industry. And with a big round of applause, let's invite Mr. Sandeep to speak with us.
Good afternoon all. Thank you so much, Fourth Dimension team, for giving us this opportunity. I know it's cruel to have a session at 2 o'clock, that too without having lunch, and that too on a financial topic. Really sorry for that delay. And let me begin. So I know some of you are, or majority of you are entrepreneurs, and some of the media people also here. And we all know how to earn money, but wealth creation is more than just accumulating money. But it's all about creating a legacy, making a difference, and of course, attaining the financial freedom. That's what we learned from all the entrepreneurs in the morning sessions. And today I'm going to talk about best wealth creation tool, mutual funds. In India, there are 40 mutual fund companies, and the total assets under management of mutual funds would be around 66 lakh crore. And 1 year back, it was just 50 lakh crore, and 10 years back, it was just 10 lakh crore. So the reasons behind the AUM growth of mutual fund industry are, one would be the financial literacy, of course the digital penetration, and the low bank interest rates. So I must thank all the media people for promoting mutual fund Sahi Hai campaign as well. So with that note, let me begin. I know Dheeraj really also has covered the India growth story, so I won't be covering much in this. But let me tell you, India, an investment opportunity for the next decade. So there are multiple reasons. One would be India is the fastest growing economy in the world with 7% plus GDP growth every year. And the next would be the unmet infrastructure need. Government in the budget as well, they have mentioned that government has to spend 3.5x infrastructure spending to meet our infrastructure needs. The third would be the consumption. The next would be manufacturing. Next would be capital expenditure by the government and the private companies. So I will be covering these slides. And of course, this slide indicates currently India holds 13% to the world growth, and it will be 17% in the coming years. And this is the affluent population. We all know the demographic dividend of India. 65% of the population in India are below 35 years of age. And of course, we know the per capita income is $2,000 per head in India. And the affluent class with $10,000 or above is just 6 crore. And we believe it will reach 10 crore in another 4 years span. 50% of our population is below $1,500 per capita income, and it also will improve. That will help us to improve the consumption as well. Of course, manufacturing is another driving force. We all believe that India will become the third largest economy by 2027, reaching 7 trillion economy. To reach that, manufacturing currently contributes nearly about 15% to our GDP. It will improve to 20 or 25% in another 3 or 4 years span. This is another interesting chart. In 1980, China's and India's per capita income was just $200. Do you know how much is the current per capita income of China? It is $12,200. But in India, it is just $2,200. Because our 45% of the labor force working in agriculture, which is just 1/5 of the per capita income of other. This is another interesting chart. India is, the fastest growing consumer market as well. And of course, we all know China is the factory to the world, but we believe India will become the factory to the world. And our merchandise export currently stands at 1.8%, and it will be doubling in another 4 years span and reaching 3.5%, and we will become the factory to the world. This is another interesting chart. The reasons for the manufacturing, do you all know? That the manufacturing, an employee in a manufacturing company in India is just $200, and in China it is 1,000. That indicates the manufacturers who are coming to India will have 1/5 cost than China. And the second would be the STEM graduates, science, technology, engineering, mathematics graduates. We are the number one in the world. And English-speaking graduate, we are number one in the world. And the next would be the working age population. As I told you before, 65% of the population is below 35 years of age. So I'm going to the mutual fund part. So as you all know, our current household savings, 50% is in the property, 15% is in gold, and 15% is in bank deposits. But if you track the returns since 1980, bank deposits has delivered just 7.9% yield, and gold has delivered 10% yield, And inflation in India is more than 7%. But see the equity returns. The Sensex started in the year 1979 with 100 rupee points, 100 points, and today it's trading at 86,000. So it has delivered more than 15% CAGR return in the last 40 years. So the first key for the financial planning would be the asset allocation. Dr. Arun was mentioning about Sadhya. Our asset allocation should be like a Sadhya only. I mean, we should not have the rice only or with achar or with avial or with thoran, etc. I mean, we must have all the ingredients in your Sadhya, right? The same as that, to attain the financial freedom, you must have a proper asset allocation. We should not put the entire money into one bucket. These are the different asset classes inside the mutual funds. Some of you may be knowing about the mutual fund categorization, but let me explain this. So some of you are corporates, I mean the entrepreneurs, maybe keeping your money in the current account with 0 interest, and the salaried people who are getting the salary from the company and they are keeping it in the savings account with 3% interest. Do you know mutual fund liquid funds with 0 risk? I mean those investing into the bonds and government securities which are giving 7% or more. It will give you the liquidity, it will give you better return than your normal traditional bank savings or the current account. So it starts with liquid and overnight funds. If you track the risk metrics, liquid and overnight are the safest in mutual funds. So this part is for the savings and the next for investments. So you must understand the difference between savings and investments. Savings is just a prerequisite for investments. So it's just you are keeping aside some money for investments, that is savings. So you can have the bond investments or the debt investments with 7% to 8% kind of yield, that to investing into the corporate bond, treasury bills or the government securities, etc. So this is one of the part. And the second would be core equity schemes. It starts with hybrid oriented schemes. If you're opting a bank FD, you may be getting around 7% kind of interest. But if you have 2-year span or 3-year span or 1-year plus span, you can have hybrid oriented scheme. It will be a mix of equity and debt oriented schemes. So it may have with 50% equity or 50% debt allocation. So if you want cash flow also, you can opt hybrid oriented schemes. If you are looking for long-term wealth creation, then you must have core equity oriented products that have risk as well. It will have risk as well. So you must understand, we must have a proper asset allocation, and based on the financial goals, you must assign an investment vehicle for that. Suppose if you wish to go from here to Whitela, or if you are going to Technopark, you may opt Uber. If you are going to Mumbai, you will opt a flight. If you are going to Dubai, you will opt a flight. Just like vehicle which you are choosing for your financial goals, you must choose the respective financial investment vehicle as well. So hope you understand a little bit about the mutual fund products. So mutual fund will have single investments as well, or if you want to opt, just like our recurring deposits, we call it as systematic investment plan. You all know HDFC Mutual Fund is one of the biggest fund houses in India with a track history of 30 years. One of our products has delivered 21% return. For a 10,000 rupee SIP for the 30 years, invested around 36 lakh, and the current value is 20.4 crore. That is the power of compounding. If you wish to have compounding, you must have long-term investments with smaller amount. That is called systematic investment plan. Every one of us must have a systematic investment plan for your long-term goals like kids' education or for your retirement or for kids' marriage, etc. And systematic transfer plan would be, as I told you before, you'll have a savings account in the proper mutual fund, liquid fund with a 7% kind of yield. From there, you can start a systematic transfer to an equity-oriented scheme because we worried about the market volatility. So you can have a systematic transfer from safe scheme to aggressive scheme. That is called systematic transfer plan. So that's it from my end. Hope you understand a little bit. If you wish to have more mutual fund knowledge, I'll be here around. During the lunch session, we'll meet and discuss. So I don't want to bore you, and I know you're all in hurry to have lunch. Thank you so much, Bharat and Shankar, for this opportunity. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Sandeep. I request you to please be on the stage, and I request Ms. Ranjini Menon, Senior Media Personality, to So please come on the stage and present him a memento as token of appreciation. Thank you so much, Mr. Sandeep and Ms. Ranjini. And now is a time for lunch. So everyone, please be here by sharp 2:45. All speakers and moderators, please have your lunch at Shani 1. Thank you. So please be here at 2:45 sharp.